She told him that day that she had the plague god constitution. If she got close to cattle and sheep, they would die, and if she got close to her clan, they would be plagued with bad luck. This was a lie. The truth was, she was the Qing Yan of the nine-headed snake. If she got close to her family, the nine-headed snake would know she cared about them and would use her family against her. Only by pretending she didn't care about her family at all, showing complete indifference, would the nine-headed snake not use her family against her. I'm feeling a bit whimsical now, really, Dawa, Lin Zaiasu said. After wiping out the remnants of the nine-headed snake at Dufeng Mountain, I feel like the entire sky over Daxia has become brighter. Passing through the grassland this time, the flowers bloom exceptionally beautiful. The moon by the Talai River is bright and spotless. This moon of yours should go back and illuminate the lands of your homeland. Dawa seemed to stop breathing for a moment. Lin Zaiasu seemed to speak casually, but the information contained within was unparalleled. Cleaning out the remnants of the nine-headed snake at Dufeng Mountain. If he didn't know where the nine-headed snake headquarters was, he couldn't possibly know Dufeng Mountain. The fact that this place name came out of his mouth already proved one thing. The nine-headed snake headquarters really was destroyed. Are you telling me that you actually know all about me? Are you telling me that you worry about the nine-headed snake's revenge? Now there's no need at all. However, he didn't say it explicitly. He only told her that the whole sky over Daxia had become brighter. Dawa didn't know what to say. It seemed like a long-standing shadow over her heart got torn apart. Should I go and meet the Heavenly Master? Lin Zaiasu shifted the conversation, opening a new chapter. Dawa glanced outside the courtyard, leaned closer. Brother, I lied to him. My master is sleeping, and he doesn't know what's happening outside. Lin Zaiasu was slightly surprised. That Heavenly Master order of yours, is it stolen? No, Dawa said. The Heavenly Master order was originally given to me by my master, allowing me to use it at any time. Now everything made sense. It was not the Heavenly Master who rescued them from the perilous situation with Kai Lion today. It was just Dawa. If Dawa had stolen the Heavenly Master order and used it directly against Kai Lion, it would have been a major violation. But the Heavenly Master order was indeed given to her by the Heavenly Master, allowing her to use it any time, which completely changed the nature of it. It equaled the Heavenly Master transferring the special privilege given by Luonian Heavenly Sect Master to this disciple. There's nothing wrong with a disciple using the Heavenly Master order. However, claiming the name of the Heavenly Master without permission is still deceiving the Master, which carries risks. That's why when she returned to the Heavenly Master Mansion, she didn't mention the Heavenly Master order at all. Brother, since it's so rare for you to visit, I'll make something delicious for you. Dawa left these words and hurried out. Lin Zaiasu sat in the courtyard, watching her departing figure, dazed and lost in thought. A thread of voice reached his ears. Who is she? Feng Jai's secret transmission. A thread of sound was sent back by Lin Zaiasu. The night before I entered Kunkang, I met a Tibetan girl in Mian town. Just a chance meeting. She was willing to give up a Heavenly Master order to save you from a certain death situation. Feng Jai found it somewhat unbelievable. It's hard to believe for anyone else too. The Heavenly Master order represents the promise of the Luonian Heavenly Sect Master. 3 Master orders can accomplish 3 things. Regardless of what those things are, it will be unconditionally executed. How precious is such a token? Who would be willing to use it for saving a person? But Dawa was willing, and she even risked deceiving her master. Can this be achieved by a chance encounter? The connection between me and her is quite interesting actually. Lin Zaiasu's eyes shimmered with a light Feng Jai could not understand. Then tell me, Lin Zaiasu said. That day, I told her my girlfriend was called Little Yi. She was poisoned and dying. The outside world couldn't cure the poison, so we needed to go to Mian Road to find the Jade fruit, or Holy Branch Dew, or the legendary water spirit Ice Heart. She accompanied me all the way, even to the most dangerous places she went to find them. When they couldn't be found on Mian Road, she entered Kunkang and actually found a bottle of Holy Branch Dew, waiting for me in the southern border. She told me she hoped that Little Yi and I could still see our own sky. He had told this story 3 times. The first time to Chang Yi, which moved Chang Yi deeply. The second time to Blue Demon. Blue Demon was very cautious because, by then, she already knew this seemingly simple teenage romantic girl was actually Qing Yan, a super nirvana of the 9-headed snake. Anyone in the world could be simple, but not the nirvanas of the nine-headed snake. Clearly not a simple person, disguised as an innocent little girl getting close to her beloved. Her best friend's beloved, what was that supposed to mean? This was the third time. Feng Jai was a bit puzzled after listening to the story. Junior brother, is this story of yours real or fake? Of course it's fake. There's no little Yi. Cough, there is little Yi, but she's not poisoned. Feng Jai stared at him for a long time. Junior brother, don't you feel it's over the top to make up a tragic story for someone you love? Don't you feel guilty using such a story to gain the sympathy of a naive, innocent girl? I just thought about sneaking into that team, getting her to show the way, and spoke without thinking. Who would have thought she was so sincere? Indeed, Feng Jai nodded. Junior brother, you have a face that could bring disaster to the nation. Oh no, it's more like a face that wreaks havoc on women, clearly not much related to innocence. Anyone with a bit of experience hearing your story would know you have ulterior motives, but it's rare to see someone who cares to such an extent. Lin Ziyasu's mouth was slightly open, unable to say a word. Feng Jai's gaze shifted slightly. Deceiving young girls should be quite common for you. Let's not talk about it, just tell me what next. What happens next? That's what they should be thinking about. If Dawa, carrying the Master's order, invites them into the Heavenly Master Mansion, the Heavenly Master, as a great power of Luonian Heavenly, might indeed have a way to break the current situation. However, Dawa was not acting under a Master's order. Her Master, the Heavenly Master, was sleeping and was completely unaware of this matter. The situation became more complicated. As soon as they left the Heavenly Master Mansion, Kai Lion would still come after them. Could they possibly get another Heavenly Master token? Of course not. In fact, the situation remained unresolved. It was just that the immediate crisis had turned into a dilemma. Of course, this is what Feng Jai perceived. Lin Ziyaasu slowly lifted his gaze. Let's wait until the Heavenly Master wakes up, then we'll discuss things with him. Noon had passed. The setting sun had descended. Dawa brought a meal that she prepared herself. And why did she make it herself? Because she was an outsider, she worried that the food made in the Heavenly Master Mansion wouldn't suit his taste. How could Lin Ziyaasu not recognize this goodwill? After dinner, he casually asked, would it be convenient for me to visit the Heavenly Master tonight? Dawa, who was tidying up the dishes, turned around. Master is sleeping, and he won't wake until the day after tomorrow. Lin Ziyaasu was taken aback. Since one was awakening from sleep measured in days? Feng Jai frowned slightly. Is your master actually in seclusion? Only during seclusion would time be measured in days. Dawa smiled gently. You could say it's seclusion. If there is nothing special, master will only awaken once a month on the night of the full moon. Brother, you don't need to worry, sect Master Kai won't enter the Heavenly Master Mansion. Rest here for a few days. When Master wakes up, I'll ask him to send you away. Well, it's all right then. After Dawa finished tidying the dishes and reached the door, she suddenly turned back. Is this sister little Yi? Lin Ziyaasu was a bit perplexed. This demon-faced witch's characteristics were so obvious, yet you don't recognize her. Feng Jai spoke. Yes, I am. Dawa, he told me about you, how you went a Kun Kang just to bring me the holy branch dew. Thank you so much, really. It's nothing, it's great that you're well. You all rest well here. Dawa left. She did not look back again. The courtyard became quiet. The oil lamp was lit, and the two of them sat under its glow. I pretended to be little Yi because, in the tiger and wolf domain, we needed to be in a room together, Feng Jai said. To not shatter her beautiful illusion, I thought it'd be better to act as little Yi. Understood. Dawa had a good impression of him, because of the story Lin Ziyaasu had fabricated. If Lin Ziyaasu was now staying with another woman, how would Dawa feel? Would her beautiful story not be shattered and distorted beyond recognition? Feng Jai pretended to be little Yi, to not break her beautiful fantasy. Being little Yi, it didn't matter. They could stay together, fitting the romantic story setting. But why did Feng Jai's gaze seem a bit strange? Having spent a lot of time with Feng Jai, Lin Ziyaasu was very attuned to her expressions. It might also be that this senior sister often wore a mask, only revealing her eyes, so all her emotions were primarily expressed through her gaze. At this moment, her gaze held a touch of mystery. Feng Jai softly exhaled, her secret transmission more focused. Did you notice there's something off about her? What? Lin Ziyaasu was slightly startled. Feng Jai said, Inside her body, there's an aura of life and death, and this energy completely surpasses her current cultivation level. There's an explanation. I'm not sure if it's the real answer, Lin Zaiasu pondered. She was originally one of the genetic people. Her bloodline genes underwent nirvana, retaining the capabilities of a nirvana, hence, the internal energy surpasses her cultivation level. She started as a genetic person, and after undergoing genetic modification by the nine-headed snake, she evolved into a nirvana. Nirvana, known as the highest level among genetic people. In truth, this statement is flawed. The fundamental principle of nirvana is to use genetic stimulation to awaken the anomalies of one's own bloodline. During her nirvana, she completed a magnificent transformation. Considering foreign genes merely as stimuli, the true effect comes from the activation of her own bloodline. What does this imply? It implies she broke free from the genetic people cannot cultivate restriction. She can cultivate. Dawa indeed began her cultivation, her level not low, as she had erected a blood tower and entered the observing earth stage. Strictly speaking, she was the only individual Lin Zaiasu had met who transitioned from a genetic person to a cultivator. At this moment, Feng Jai, originally from the desolate realm, noticed her anomaly. That was her internal energy, surpassing her current cultivation level. Your explanation is likely not the real answer. I've heard of external nirvana similar to divine demon refining body, yet even with divine demon refining body, it wouldn't produce such atypical energy inside her. She seems to be a humanoid vessel specially designed for storing life and death aura. This lay beyond Lin Zaiasu's knowledge base, and he asked, surprised, "For her, is it a blessing or a curse?" Chapter 567, Chapter 566, Butterflies arrive at midnight. Of course it's a good thing. It ensures that her cultivation progresses rapidly, but if someone harbors ill intentions, she's extremely dangerous, said Feng Jai. For instance, if someone who specializes in the rules of life and death encounters her, then to them, she would be the best cauldron for enhancing cultivation. Cultivation cauldron. A specialized term in the cultivation world. What is a cauldron? Simply put, it's an elixir. She is a pill that cultivators can use to enhance their cultivation. Lin Zaiasu's heart stirred slightly. Suddenly, his gaze lifted. On the courtyard wall, a butterfly fluttered over. The trajectory of its flight was completely different from that of an ordinary butterfly. No, to be precise, it was only when it crossed the courtyard wall that it appeared so different. The courtyard wall had strange stones that could create air turbulence, which caused sound waves to be unable to pass through smoothly, thus ensuring the courtyard's quietness. Such air turbulence is generally imperceptible to humans, as people can easily cross it regardless of how chaotic the air is. However, for such a light butterfly, the turbulence can deform its flight, yet this butterfly's flight path remained unchanged. Lin Zaiasu whispered a sound quietly into Feng Jai's ear. "Senior sister, be careful. A single butterfly usually doesn't require caution. But this is Kun Kang, where great powers abound. Who knows what a butterfly might signify?" Feng Jai followed his gaze and saw the butterfly. Her heart skipped slightly, sensing every movement of the butterfly but not deliberately focusing on it. Suddenly, a whisper came from the butterfly's mouth, penetrating her eardrum, stunning her. Lin Zaiasu also suddenly looked up, surprisedly staring at the butterfly. "What did you hear?" asked Feng Jai. "It said, 'Follow me,'" Lin Zaiasu responded. "Are you sure it was 'follow me' 3 words?" Feng Jai asked. "Positive." Feng Jai's expression changed dramatically. "It said to me, 'Come with me.'" Lin Zaiasu stared at her blankly. "The meaning is the same, but the words are different. What does that suggest?" "It suggests it's not a general invitation, but a specific invitation to each of us," Feng Jai said. "What should we do?" Lin Zaiasu contemplated. "There's a saying outside that group messages can be ignored, while targeted messages need a response. How about we follow it?" "Are we really going? It could be a trick by Kai Lion." "Kai Lion doesn't need to play such tricks. We're in Luonian heaven, he could meet us anytime. Doing this would just lower his stature," Lin Zaiasu said. "Plus, we're not afraid of him." The last sentence was the key point. In conclusion, they have a trump card. Feng Jai nodded. "Let's go." The butterfly flitted over the courtyard wall. The two of them climbed out the window and followed. Inside the heavenly master mansion, no one noticed. Lin Zayasu's heart pounded heavily. Initially, he had some doubts about whether Kai Lion was behind this, but now he was entirely certain it wasn't Kai Lion. Why? Because as they left the Heavenly Master Mansion, there seemed to be a special passage surrounding them, shielding everything. This method isn't something Kai Lion can possess. Even this butterfly itself isn't something the giants of the Enlightenment realm can understand. It can speak. If the saying after the founding of the country, animals are not allowed to become spirits, is accurate, then there's only one possibility. It's related to the cultivation path. This butterfly possesses a primordial spirit within. Enlightenment of God realm, the second level of the Enlightenment realm, no one in Kun Kang can reach it. Of course, there's none on the surface. Now it seems perhaps there is. Feng Jai, as light as the wind, glanced over the Heavenly Master Mansion they just passed. She caught sight of a person in a certain pavilion within the Heavenly Master Mansion. Dawa she sat in the pavilion, gazing distantly at the moon in the sky. Today is the 12th of the lunar month, and the moon is gradually becoming full. Bathed in the cold moonlight, a woman was lost in reverie as she stared at the moving moon. Her name is Dawa, and according to the junior brother by her side, the name means moon in Tibetan. This earthly moon gazes at the celestial moon. What is she contemplating? Why does she feel this Dawa has truly been ensnared by this mischievous junior brother, seduced with stories into her innocent heart? Ah, it's a sin. Lin Zaiasu didn't have so many distractions. Following the butterfly into the Two Realms mountain, he was fully focused, and under the heavenly Tao wisdom eye, the butterfly gracefully flying ahead seemed completely real. However, the plants around him were all unusual. With a whoosh, the butterfly flapped its wings. Lin Zaiasu took a step forward, and suddenly the scenery ahead completely changed. The towering Two Realms mountain vanished. The dense forest disappeared. A serene lake lay before him, with a nearly full moon hanging on the horizon. The cold radiance illuminated the lake, and tranquil waves rippled across its surface. Behind him, the wind whipped up the clouds, revealing a steep cliff. Feng Jai was also nowhere to be found. The shock was immense for Lin Zaiasu. Under the operation of the heavenly Tao wisdom eye, everything before him was not an illusion. However, within the completely real natural phenomena, the sword chi intertwined. The surging lake waves bore the fury of the sword. The gentle sway of the old willow on the lakeside embodied the magnificent sword momentum. The bamboo grove beside the old willow served as sword blades. Even the rolling clouds over the cliff behind him resembled a tidal wave of sword chi. Layers of waves rippled through his heart. A splash of water sounded as a small boat approached from the lake. On the boat, an old helmsman rowed with a paddle, 1, 2, 3 points, and the boat reached the shore. The helmsman slowly lifted his head. His face was weathered. His hands were gnarled like ancient trees. Yet his eyes were bright as stars. Those eyes quietly landed on Lin Zaiasu's face. "Boy, do you have a question about where your companion went?" "Yes." "You don't need to have that doubt, you just need another one, how to find her." "Right. Actually, it's simple. If you can take 3 of my sword strikes, you can see her." Lin Zaiasu nodded. "Where is your sword?" A simple question. The helmsman seemed a bit puzzled, scratching his head. "Ah, right, where's my sword? It's been so long that I forgot. No worries, I'll just make one." With a gentle wave of his hand, the oar suddenly lost half of its length. With a few consecutive strokes of his hand, the oar quickly took on the shape of a sword. After about 10 breaths, the helmsman tilted his head to appraise the wooden sword in his hand. "How is this sword?" "Ugly," said Lin Zaiasu. "Kid, show some respect for an old man's labor. How about being a bit courteous?" The helmsman was not pleased. Lin Zaiasu said, "If I were to flatter you insincerely, that would be true disrespect." The helmsman sighed. "All right, I initially intended to spar with you symbolically, but since you insist on principles, very well, no more holding back. I'll beat you up as a sign of respect." "Bring it on." Lin Zaiasu raised his hand, gripping the 5-element sword. "You go first." Whoosh! Lin Zaiasu drew his sword. Once the sword was drawn, separation. Sharp beyond compare, cutting straight towards the helmsman. The helmsman's wooden sword followed suit, also executing separation. Equally sharp beyond compare. Lin Zaiasu's eyes brightened. The sword's tip in his hand suddenly emitted a Tuzhang cold light. Sword intent added. Once the sword intent was added, this move of separation truly possessed the sharpness to sever all things. However, the wooden sword in the old man's hand suddenly flickered with a sword glow. This flicker extended to a three-zhang cold light. Whoosh! Lin Zaiasu's separation was directly torn apart. The sword glow cut through the sky, reaching Lin Zaiasu's throat. Lin Zaiasu abruptly raised his long sword vertically. The second form of the Li Ren swordsmanship, severing a motion. In the past, severing a motion, like a mountain toppling, even if one observed the extremes of heaven, they would be repelled by a single strike. But today, with the added sword intent, severing a motion underwent a miraculous transformation. As the long sword stood vertically, a natural toppling mountain momentum was formed. The cold light of sword intent shot towards him dispersed by sheer force. Lin Zaiasu's long sword rose with the momentum, slashing down. This strike was as if heaven itself was collapsing. The lake water under the old man's feet also seemed to be forcibly pressed down by 2 feet with this strike. The old man exclaimed in admiration, "Not bad." With a flick of the wooden sword, it moved upstream. Boom! Lin Zaiasu's sword high and flew far. The lake water suddenly surged, sending the old man into the sky. In the sky, the wooden sword fell, and this strike seemed to shake the Milky Way, being nothing short of severing a motion. But his severing a motion, how could it be compared to Lin Zaiasu's? This weight, just like the sky collapsing, was nothing short of heaven's collapse. Lin Zaiasu's heart pounded wildly. His long sword traced an exquisite arc, with him as the center, a scene of misty rain Jiangnan. This is his strongest sword Dao, Li Ren tears. The elder's severing a motion, like heaven's collapsing pressure pouring into this misty rain Jiangnan, stirred up waves of mist. Mid the mist, lotus flowers bloomed. 100 lotus flowers swayed in the wind. One flower flew up, meeting the old man's imaginary sword strike. 100 flowers fall, one flies from this moment, never minuscule. The old man suddenly spun in the air. The horizontally pressing severing a motion thus dissolved into formlessness. Around him, too, 100 flowers bloomed. 100 flowers fall, one flies. This one flower met the flower Lin Zaiasu had shot out. In terms of size, Lin Zaiasu's flower was a giant lotus, over 3 feet in diameter, whereas the old man's flower was less than 3 inches. In terms of color, Lin Zaiasu's giant lotus was exceedingly vibrant. But the old man's flower, devoid of bright red, contained only a wisp of faint cyan light. With a soft sound, Lin Zaiasu's giant lotus turned into scattered petals. The old man's cyan flower wafted past with endless severing emotion. The whole world fell into a deathly silence. In the Jiangnan mist and rain, there seemed to be a sorrowful sound of wind instruments. Poof! This cyan flower suddenly appeared at Lin Zaiasu's forehead, and Lin Zaiasu could not avoid it, watching as this cyan flower was about to engulf him. Suddenly, with a light pop, the cyan flower exploded, turning into a sky full of streaming light, disappearing without a trace. Lin Zaiasu's eyes were wide open, quietly watching the old man by the lake. The old man also quietly watched him. Li Ren swordsmanship, Lin Zaiasu said. Senior, are you also an old acquaintance of the Li Palace? If leaving home, leaving kin, and leaving one's homeland counts as Li Ren, then this old man counts, the helmsman said. However, I am not the Li Palace person you think I am. Today's meeting with this junior, for what purpose, might I know? The helmsman said. After you take the Li Ren tears that this old man just executed, then I can talk to you about my true intention. Senior's sword Dao is profound and unfathomable. This move of Li Ren tears, this junior cannot withstand at present. The helmsman smiled. Of course you can't withstand it right now, but how about giving you 3 years? 3 years? Yes, 3 years' time. If you can take this move, then you are a genius of the highest order, and only then would you be qualified to learn this old man's true intention. Lin Zaiasu said, Senior's kindness is appreciated, however. I don't have 3 years to spare. The helmsman's eyebrows suddenly twitched. Lin Zaiasu finished his sentence. How about setting a limit of 3 days? 3 days, the helmsman's eyes widened. Yes, whether succeed or fail, only 3 days. The helmsman said, do you know where the gap lies between you and this old man? Roughly, I only have realized sword intent, but the sword you just used, Senior, was a cyan flower. Sword Dao will, 1 level 1 heaven, just 3 days, and you want to start from sword intent and reach cyan flower directly. I'll give it a try. Chapter 568, Chapter 567, Gu Jian Yaochen. Lin Ziasu sat cross-legged. Throughout the night, he remained motionless. However, the light in his eyes flickered. Just now the helmsman's move, Li Rentier's, strictly speaking, was elusive. A move of Li Rentier's that was elusive, yet easily defeated his original Li Rentier's, simply because of one point, Sword Dao Will. The helmsman's Sword Dao Will was at the high realm of Qinghua. He truly manifested the charm of Li Rentier's. What Lin Ziasu needed to do was not to replicate that charm, but to let his own charm take shape. Throughout the night, he vaguely felt a touch. The next day's dusk, misty rain Jiangnan blossomed around him. It was his first time in life without wielding the sword in his hand, yet misty rain Jiangnan naturally blossomed. These flowers under the dusk rain seemed so desolate. However, the regret of a late spring where hundreds of flowers all wilt did not occur. Amid the drizzling rain, the flowers bloomed vividly, always vividly, just like the real nature. Outside the misty rain Jiangnan's circle, the old helmsman held a wine jug in his hand, his eyes slightly squinting. This kid seems to have gained some insight, and next should be that essence point. Let's see what of flower flies can fly out. However, after waiting a long time, Lin Ziasu's flower flies from Li Rentier's still did not fly. All night long, he seemed just captivated by the misty rain Jiangnan scene he created. His steps traversed this Jiangnan land, seeming reluctant to destroy this earthly Miao realm. Dawn, the darkest time of the day. Suddenly, the wind rose and the clouds flew. Fierce beasts roared, the earth sunk. With a loud rumble, the misty rain Jiangnan ground and sky overturned. Petals rolled into the muck, the last lotus carried away by the wild wind. This lotus flew towards the helmsman. The small boat beneath the helmsman suddenly stabilized, his surroundings perfect misty rain Jiangnan. Hundreds of flowers wilt as a flower flies. The Qinghua flew towards the remaining flower shot by Lin Ziasu. With a loud collision, the two flowers simultaneously shattered into bits, fragments cascading down, all green in hue. The helmsman's face changed, sword intent green flower. Lin Ziasu smiled, and with this smile, the misty rain Jiangnan Miao realm completely vanished. Entering Qinghua in just 1 day and 2 nights, how is this even possible? The helmsman muttered. Observing the predecessor's sword Dao, empathizing with this move, Li Rentier's triggered this intricate mechanism. Lin Ziasu slightly bowed. Still must thank the predecessor for guidance. Observing sword Dao triggers intricate mechanisms. How many people observe sword Dao, yet how many can trigger mechanisms? Empathizing with Li Rentier's. Boy, you were born in a peaceful and prosperous era, never witnessed the sorrow between heaven and earth, yet how did you empathize? Lin Ziasu said. During past times, indeed leisurely brewed time and slowly brewed tea, the years were peaceful. However, the future, not difficult to imagine. Reminiscing the day Li Rentier's flies, ultimately when prosperity ends. Reminiscing the day Li Rentier's flies, ultimately when prosperity ends. The helmsman sighed long. Well said, truly well said. Boy, the old me might as well reveal my true intention. This also fulfilled what he said before. After receiving his 3 swords, reveal his true intention. Now Lin Ziasu's sword Dao entered Qinghua, matching his sword evenly, naturally counted as receiving his 3 swords. However, Lin Ziasu gently shook his head. The junior still wishes to speak directly with the senior's true self. The helmsman's eyes widened. You can actually discern that the old me is not the true self. Yes. The helmsman sighed long, a prodigy indeed. As the sigh faded, his figure suddenly disappeared into thin air, transformed into a wisp of sword chi. With a sharp noise, it shot upwards through the forest. Lin Ziasu moved his foot, following the direction of this wisp of sword chi, journeying onward. What lay ahead was already the summit of Two Realms Mountain. Incomparably perilous. Floating clouds drift, silence in all directions. With 3 leaps, Lin Ziasu landed on the summit. On the summit, an old man sat cross-legged. This old man, identical to that helmsman with only one difference. The helmsman sat on a boat, and he, on the rock on the mountain top. Greetings, senior, Lin Ziasu bowed deeply. The old man slowly opened his eyes. My true intention was originally a trade, yet you've made the old me quite distressed. Why? Lin Ziasu inquired. The old man replied, "My true intention was to help you break into Kinghua, using this as a bargaining chip, for you to do something for me. But you entered Kinghua, the old me truly did not assist. The chip therefore is not a chip, presently asking you to do something really hard to mention." Lin Zaiasu smiled. Entering Kinghua was achieved by observing the predecessor's sword. How can it be said I did not benefit from your grace? Whatever the senior desires accomplished, as long as within my ability, I will undoubtedly accomplish it with full effort. You are very straightforward, then the old me will not be pretentious. The old man said, "I want you to go out to the outside world, find the three realms, find someone there, and tell him something." Find who inside? Lin Zaiasu's heart pounded. The three realms, this is a very mysterious place name. With Wing Blade as his eyes, he found the place left by Taoist Lu Yun, yet did not find the temple of the three realms. A blind man, 3 feet 3 inches tall. His surname doesn't matter, for he could traverse the mortal realm under 100 different identities. Any name I give you might lead you astray. Blind man. Lu Yun. But Lu Yun is only 3 feet 3 inches. No, Lin Zaiasu had seen him in person, and he was of normal height. However, on the path of cultivation, height can also be deceiving. Is the old man truly seeking Lu Yun? What does the elder wish to tell him? Lin Zaiasu cut to the heart of the matter. The old man replied, "Tell him that to unravel the world-ending calamity, only the three-character book will do. The human character scroll of the three-character bone book is in the heavenly abyss." Three-character bone book. A great wave surged in Lin Zaiasu's heart. This was the second time he heard the name three-character bone book. The first was learned from the primordial spirit imprint of the venerable Hydra snake. This lord, in constructing the colossal nine-headed snake on a global scale, aimed not for the organization, but to leverage its pervasive power to seek out the three-character bone book worldwide. The thing even the nine-headed snake could not find, theoretically, no one else could either. Yet in this Kun Kang, the elder sitting atop the mountain, explicitly informed him that the human character scroll of the three-character bone book was in the heavenly abyss. But where is the heavenly abyss? Heavenly abyss, the old man does not know either, but the one from the three realms might have a way to find it. Lin Zaiasu took a deep breath. "Elder, if by chance I meet the one from the three realms, and he asks from whom the information originated, how should the younger generation reply?" The old man's gaze slowly lifted. "You can tell him this message comes from the sole orphan of the ancient array sect, Gu Jian Yaochen." Gu, elder's surname is Gu. Lin Zaiasu's heart was greatly stirred. When he traversed through the ancient array sect, he had seen some steals and knew that the sect master's surname was peculiar, a surname Gu. In the past, the old man was not surnamed Gu. He was surnamed Jian and named Jian Wuchen. After roaming the world for 1,000 years, upon returning to the ancestral land, realizing things had changed, I returned to the ancestral surname, broke my sword, leaving dust, tell him these, and he naturally knows who I am. Elder, to be honest, I've received the inheritance of the Array sect. I'm also considered a disciple of the Array sect. Gu Jian Yaochen's eyes suddenly brightened. This brightness was like starlight from beyond the heavens. You have received the inheritance of the Array sect." "Yes." "How could you enter the forbidden ground of the Array sect?" His voice grew excited. "The younger generation was born with an innate Array eye," Lin Zaiasu said. "I can clearly see that the peak under the elder is an Array eye of an ancient array, and moreover I can see." His voice abruptly stopped, and his face was full of shock. Gu Jian Yaochen stared at him intently. "Tell me, what else have you seen?" "Elder, your body. Your body is this mountain peak. You are one of the 81 elders of the Array sect who transformed their flesh into an array in ancient times. Indeed, you have an innate Array eye. Good, good. Heaven has eyes, the Array sect has heirs." Gu Jian Yaochen laughed heartily, extremely elated, yet his laughter ceased suddenly, turning forlorn. "However, you have misunderstood one thing. I'm not one of the ancient 81 elders. They who transmuted their flesh into an array, how could they return to the soul? I merely use my body to maintain this grand array, preventing its extinction." Using the body to maintain, preserving the grand array. Over thousands of years, inevitably the grand array, full of numerous holes and flaws, struggles to operate, and Gu Jian Yaochen uses his flesh and blood to inject life into the grand array formed by the bodies of the 81 elders, ensuring the protective world sealing array isolating the desolate ancient realm continues to operate. Lin Zaiasu was shaken. The ancient array sect paid the price of the sect's complete annihilation to create such a grand array. Its successors were also maintaining this grand array. The rebellious disciple Jian Wuchen, who left the sect to follow the sword path, also resolutely returned, willingly exhausting his very life's blood, spanning thousands of years, unshakably fulfilling the sect's dying wish. Gu Jian Yaochen said, "From this moment on, I shall call you junior brother." Senior brother, Lin Zaiasu grasped his hand. As for me, my body is fused with the array. I cannot leave Luonian heaven. Even though my primordial spirit can extend my perception for hundreds of miles, I cannot leave Kun Kang. Therefore, the task of finding the three realms rests upon you. Otherwise, should the desolate ancient breach in your world, Kun Kang would inevitably be affected. The heaven-sealing array constructed at the sect's great cost, exhausting the sect's foundation, would no longer be an array but a joke. Do you understand? This younger brother understands. This great array has one purpose, to block the desolate ancient from breaching the realm. If this sole outlet remains, and the array remains unbroken, the desolate ancient cannot intrude, and thus the array would have served its purpose. However, the desolate ancient has more than this one outlet. It can breach from the outside world. If it breaches from the outside world, entering through Kun Kang, arriving before Gu Jian Yaochen, what then is the point of building the grand array by the ancient array sect? Wouldn't it be a joke? Gu Jian Yaochen released a long, endless sigh. Junior brother, is the world really so unpredictable, isn't it? Yes, indeed, Lin Zai also replied. Senior brother, why in the vast sea of humanity did you choose me? I chose you because you are an outsider. Seeking someone beyond the world is greatly advantageous. Moreover, your strike of Li Ren tears in Luonian City greatly moved me. I believe your cultivation road will be boundlessly high and far. Therefore, I wish to form a good connection with you. Who knew I would first create a bond of the same sect, hence why this is called fate. Thank you, senior brother, for the regard, yet my cultivation road has encountered an issue. Can you, senior brother, help remove this shackle? An issue? Gu Jian Yaochen's face slightly changed, his fingers lightly raised, pointing at Lin Zaiasu's forehead. At that point his expression completely changed. The blood tower is perfect, yet there are only 8 stars shining in the sky. Where is your heavenly star tier? Where did it go? His voice held a distinct panic. For this ancient great power, it was an exceptionally unusual thing. Lin Zaiasu confessed sincerely. There were originally 9, but one was untimely, faced with a dilemma, so he used it to save someone. The dialogue unfolded thus. Gu Jian Yaochen sighed heavily. Junior brother, how should I speak of you? To scold you, with such a compassionate and righteous nature, I truly can't. To not scold, my heart harbors unrest. Junior brother, such an incredulous genius to be ruined instantaneously. Lin Zaiasu's heart turned icy cold. Even this truly great power of ancient level judges his path as no longer viable. Chapter 569, Chapter 568, The Red Spider Lily of That Day. On the path of cultivation, indeed there are 3,000 great Tao, each displaying remarkable abilities, yet there exists a certain rule, that is, a tall building stands from the ground up, the wind seen from a stand, little brother, you are lacking the innate path, destined never to break into observing heaven, destined never to see the scenery above observing heaven. Gu Jian Yaochen sighed long. I once wished to impart my lifelong swordsmanship to you, yet swordsmanship too has a threshold. You cannot step into observing heaven, even if you understand the profound truth of swordsmanship. It is futile. The world's helplessness reaches to such an extent. Lin Zaiasu said, Senior brother, do not be too troubled. Even though my path of cultivation is broken, there are actually other paths to choose. Gu Jian Yaochen's eyes brightened slightly. The array path. The array path is indeed one among them. Gu Jian Yaochen's gaze slowly lifted, looking far into the northwest. Perhaps this is the will of our Father below the 9 springs. He hoped to see disciples cast aside all distractions, focus wholly on the array path of the universe. Little brother, you have an innate array eye. By a twist of fate entered the array sect, but lost the path of cultivation. If he knows below, perhaps he would sigh that the heavenly Tao favors. His voice was endlessly desolate. His voice was also infinitely complex. Back then he was born in the array sect but disliked the array path and preferred swordsmanship, often defying his father, and in his father's rage he was expelled at that time. How self-centered he was. Abandoning the ancestral name, entering Jianghu, taking the sword as his surname, living by the sword, self-styled as Jian Wuchen. On the sword's tip, how many strong men has he killed? Countless. On the sword's heart, was there ever a trace of dust? However, the sect underwent great change. His father died and the Tao disappeared. The entire array sect perished with the array. This wandering Jianghu, deliberately stepping out of the shadow of the array path, this rebellious sect disciple, realized that there was indeed dust in his heart. That speck of dust was the sect and family he only cherished after losing. Today, a junior brother appeared. With unparalleled talent, unmatched understanding, inherited the array path, but lost the path of cultivation. This little junior brother, father, do you like him? For a moment, on the Two Realms mountain top, where Gu Jian Yaochen resided for thousands of years, his heart surged with waves. Senior brother, you chose me. I know the reason, then why did you choose her? What was the reason for that? He's speaking of her, of course referring to Feng Jai. The invitation from the heavenly master's courtyard, this butterfly attached to Gu Jian Yaochen's primordial spirit, was extended to both him and Feng Jai. The reason for choosing him, he knew already. But what about Feng Jai? Gu Jian Yaochen seemed to be pulled back from distant desolate retrospect. Choosing her is because of the reincarnation mark on her. Reincarnation mark. Gu Jian Yaochen said, people with the reincarnation mark are direct bloodlines of the reincarnation sect. In my past wanderings in Jianghu, I have only one thing weighing on my conscience. I owe the reincarnation sect. Thus, when I meet someone with the reincarnation mark, I always wish to repay a little to make up for that day's debt. Where is she? This was what Lin Ziasu cared about. Over there. Gu Jian Yaochen waved gently, as if parting the clouds to see the sun. The clouds behind him parted, revealing a pathway. At the end of the pathway, a pool of blue water, a red flower in front of the red flower, a woman sat cross-legged. It was Feng Jai. Is she comprehending the sword? Yes, this sword is the pinnacle sword among the nirvana swordsmanship of the reincarnation sect, named Other Shore Flower Blooms. She knows the nirvana swordsmanship, yet it's vague and indistinct, lacking the method. Once she comprehends this sword, her nirvana swordsmanship can then be steered onto the right path. Nirvana swordsmanship. Lin Ziasu had seen it many times. His senior sister was accustomed to letting out a loud yell before launching a great move. Nirvana swordsmanship prelude. Neither enemy nor self remains. Then myriad phoenix sword shadows merged into one. One sword could withstand an attack from a giant of the enlightenment realm, thus establishing her illustrious reputation as the #1 sword cultivator below the enlightenment realm. Other Shore Flower Blooms, what an elegant name, can you show it to me? Lin Ziasu was very interested. Little brother is truly fond of the sword path. Unfortunately, this sword move, you can never learn it because this sword move requires the fusion of reincarnation rules. She has the reincarnation bloodline, with self-contained reincarnation rules in her blood, so she can comprehend, but you, at present, it is absolutely impossible. Gu Jian Yaochen said, if you want to see, I'll show you. He gently pointed with his finger. A wisp of sword chi touched the red Other Shore flower by the pool. The world suddenly changed. A bouquet spanning the heavens in the Milky Way. Carrying mysterious and unparalleled energy, carrying unmatched will. Lin Ziasu was shocked. Senior brother, I have seen this move. You have seen it. Gu Jian Yaochen was also shocked. How have you seen it? In ancient times at the Li Palace, I sensed the 3 ancestors of the Li Palace unleash the 3 moves of the Li Ren swordsmanship. These sword moves were profound and unmatched from their hands, yet a single red Other Shore flower descended from the sky. With just a gentle blow, it extinguished the 3 ancestors of the Li Palace. Senior brother, you were the one who did it. This is not too distant a matter. Yet in Lin Ziasu's memory, it seemed very remote. This has to be traced back to when he first studied the Li Ren swordsmanship. With his primordial spirit as a guide, he captured the story of the Li Palace 3 ancestors clashing with a mysterious red Other Shore flower. The move that the red Other Shore flower used was particularly memorable to him, but he could never reproduce it in reality, not even a little. But today, he vaguely had a guess. That is, the red Other Shore flower above the heads of the Li Palace, 3 ancestors might indeed have come from this senior brother before him. Gu Jian Yaochen sighed skyward. I never believed in karma in the past, but today it seems I must believe. The one who killed the Li Palace 3 ancestors was indeed me. I used my primordial spirit as the basis, with butterflies as carriers, to execute that single move Other Shore flower blooms. Though he had guessed it, Hearing Gu Jian Yaochen acknowledge it himself, Lin Ziaosu was still somewhat shaken. Gu Jian Yaochen saw through his thoughts. Kun Kang of the past was not like this today. At that time, there were many giants of enlightenment of gods and rule enlightenment. Those people were ancient people, always wanting to return to the ancient. The three ancestors of the Li Palace were among them. How could I let them disrupt my sect's grand plan? Thus, I killed them all cleanly, making today's complete disconnection above the enlightenment of gods the pattern. That's how it is. Lin Ziaosu understood. Each generation has its own way of thinking. In that era, when the Array sect forcibly peeled Kun Kang from the ancient world, inside there were also ancient experts. People yearned for their homeland, naturally wanting to return. Gu Jian Yaochen, amidst the anger of his sect's demise, made the move to kill them thoroughly, was within reason. Kun Kang today has no pattern of enlightenment of gods, also because back then this butterfly flapped its wings. This is the way of the world. This is the state of humanity. Senior brother, tell me about the desolate ancient realm. There's so much to tell about the desolate ancient realm. Where should I start? Start with how you owe the reincarnation sect. I think that must be quite an interesting story. Whether the story is interesting or not is another matter. The key is that the story should be quite lighthearted. Lin Ziaosu could see that Gu Jian Yaochen had a lot on his mind and intended to liven up the atmosphere. Indeed, the activity level of this story instantly maxed out. Gu Jian Yaochen began to speak. That was when he was young. He roamed the Jianghu, his white clothes like snow and his sword like frost, full of youthful exuberance. But he adhered to the basic theory of sword cultivation that women affect the speed of drawing one's sword, and never got close to women. Until he met a woman, the holy daughter of the reincarnation sect, Du Yuxin. The two met in the Jianghu and hit it off. Playing the zither and practicing sword under the moon, he had to admit distractions began to take shape. He worried that his sword heart would be tainted and wanted to leave her. However, she traveled 1,000 miles overnight to block him at Sword Gate Pass. That night the flowers bloomed in spring. That night, the moonlight was like water. They finally accomplished good things. However, the next day he still left. This departure was one of hidden name and identity. She searched in vain, shaved her head and became a nun. This is the debt of Gu Jian Yaochen. The story's beginning, there was light in Gu Jian Yaochen's eyes. The story's end, Gu Jian Yaochen's eyes were dim. Senior brother, you abandoned her, but did your sword truly become sharper? Lin Ziaosu took a deep breath and asked the question of the soul. Gu Jian Yaochen slowly raised his gaze. Now I have no sword anymore. So, perhaps women do affect the speed of drawing one's sword, but if there is no familial affection or concern in the world, for whom would we draw our swords? There would be no desire even to draw a sword, Lin Ziaosu said. Gu Jian Yaochen remained silent for a long time. Junior brother's words, I have only come to understand them after 1,000 years. Do you have wine? I do. Lin Ziaosu extended his hand and took out 2 bottles of wine. Chuxiang liquor from his hometown. The two each took a bottle and drank directly from it. Junior brother, in this matter, don't learn from me, Gu Jian Yaochen said. Don't worry, in this respect, I certainly won't learn from you, Lin Ziaosu said. Gu Jian Yaochen chuckled lightly. She's still practicing sword there for at least 10 days to half a month. If you want to know about things in the ancient wilderness, I'll slowly chat with you. And so they talked. Lin Ziaosu's puzzle about the ancient world slowly became complete. Gu Jian Yaochen had once roamed the Jianghu in that world in fine clothes and on spirited horses. Wherever there was fun, he went. Wherever there was danger, he braved it. The Jianghu heroes he met, the Jianghu storms he witnessed, were numerous. In the span of more than 10 days, it all entered Lin Ziaosu's ears. He finally had a clear image of the desolate ancient realm. It was a world where dynasties and cultivation sects coexisted. It was a world with great powers of Tao. That world was endlessly fascinating. However, the clearer that world became, the more Lin Ziaosu worried about his own world. One person crossing realms and destroying a realm was not a legend. It was truly possible. The law of the jungle in the universe, the strong survive, the weak survive, is also not a legend but an unfolding human tragedy after the 3rd of March. At the end of the month, beside the pond, Feng Jai slowly stood up, her hand gently stretched out, a long sword in her hand pointing to the sky. With a hiss, A green glow at the sword tip bloomed into a red spider lily. The pond seemed to split in two, with the dividing line between the two sides of the water still touching but not merging, as if divided into two separate worlds. Feng Jai's chest rose and fell gently. Her eyes were boundless with light. At the mountain top, Lin Zaiasu looked through this passage and saw this sword Dao spectacle. His eyes also shone brightly. The red spider lily descending from the sky that day, he had seen it. The red spider lily before him now, exhibited by Feng Jai, he also witnessed. In terms of sword Dao level, Gu Jian Yaochen's bloom of the other shore was unknown thousands of miles beyond this sword, but in terms of visual impact, Feng Jai's sword was even more astonishing. Perhaps this is the closeness in levels of sword Dao that resonates more strongly. Gu Jian Yaochen's voice came. Junior brother, if you truly want to learn this sword, it's not entirely impossible. Chapter 570, Chapter 569, Confrontation with Kai Lion. Speaker. She is a reincarnated being of 3 lifetimes, and the reincarnation rules are inherent in her bloodline. You can take a drop of her blood to comprehend the reincarnation rules. With your extraordinary understanding, you may grasp a fragment of it in a few years or even months and achieve the level of flower blooming on the other shore like her. Just 1 drop of blood. Don't underestimate her. Born through 3 lifetimes, she is a singular anomaly of reincarnation, Gu Jian Yaochen said. Her training is complete, and you can descend the mountain with her. Whatever goal you wish to achieve in Kun Kang, you may inform me, and I will accomplish it for you as your elder brother. If these words were heard by the giants of the Kun Kang Enlightenment realm, they might be sweating profusely. However, Lin Zaiasu gently shook his head. I have already made arrangements for the matters of Kun Kang. Senior brother, you might as well watch from the sidelines first. If any changes occur, it won't be too late to act then. All right. I will address the matters of the 3 realms after the 3rd of March. There is no rush for that. Based on my estimates, the true final calamity is still a few years away. This is all the wine I carry with me. Senior brother, living alone, you might enjoy a few drinks occasionally. Lin Zaiasu extended his hand and left him with 7 pieces of wine. Gu Jian Yaochen's eyes brightened. Junior brother, you possess a space artifact. Even though it's the end of Dharma era now, you no longer seem like a person of these times. If senior brother can emerge, is there any treasure worth making a fuss over? Lin Zaiasu laughed and said, farewell. Junior brother, take care. Gu Jian Yaochen cupped his hands. Senior brother, take care. The wind blew, and Lin Zaiasu appeared by the pond. Feng Jai's eyes lit up with joy. Little Su, the owner of the butterfly, bears no malice. It brought us here to bestow an opportunity upon us. Of course, Lin Zaiasu laughed as well. What kind of opportunity did you receive? My sword intent entered the azure flower. Ah, you really shocked me, Feng Jai exclaimed. Who exactly is this great person? We ought to thank them in person. If they wish to reveal themselves, they will. If not, we won't find them, Lin Zaiasu replied. No need. All right then. Feng Jai held her sword with both hands and bowed deeply. Feng Jai of Shenghua Valley and Lin Zaiasu thanked the great person for their generosity in imparting swordsmanship. After expressing their thanks, the 2 crossed the pond, and the scenery before them changed dramatically. Beneath their feet was the Heavenly Master residence. On the pavilion above, Dawa exclaimed in astonishment and rose to his feet. Lin Zaiasu and Feng Jai descended from the mountain in 1 step and landed on the pavilion. Brother, where have you? Where have you been? It's been over 10 days, Dawa was excited. We went to 2 Realms Mountain and got lost, wandering in the mountains for so long. Fortunately, we finally found a way out. It's my fault for not telling you about the dangers of 2 Realms Mountain. Thankfully, eternal heaven has shown mercy, and you and little sister Zio ye have reunited with the world. Dawa prayed devoutly. Lin Zaiasu and Feng Jai exchanged glances. I'll cook for you. After her prayer, Dawa got up and went down the pavilion to make a meal for them. This meal was plentiful. Lin Zaiasu and Feng Jai devoured it. For more than half a month in 2 Realms Mountain, they hadn't eaten a proper meal. Although the mystical chi kept them full of energy, food seemed to be a hallmark of returning to normal human society. To have a good meal and drink a cup of tea signified their return from the world of sword cultivators to reality. Dawa told them that on the 15th of the 1st month, the Heavenly Master awoke, and she told him about them, to which the Heavenly Master had no unusual reaction. He went back to sleep the next day. This indicated that her pretense of the Heavenly Master order was forgiven. The Heavenly Master also tacitly accepted it. Lin Zaiyasu said, "Dawa, are you going back with us?" "Brother, are you leaving now?" Dawa asked. "I'm leaving Luonian heaven now, and about half a month later I'll finish my business in Kun Kang and leave Kun Kang," Lin Zaiyasu said. "What about you? What's your plan?" Dawa panicked. "Brother, the question is, how will you leave Kun Kang now? I think you should wait half a month for my master to wake up. He can certainly get you out. I mentioned it that day and he didn't refute." "It's fine, trust me." Lin Zaiyasu gently patted her shoulder. "I'll go ahead, I'll wait for you outside." "I'll see you off," Dawa gritted her teeth. The situation with Kai Lion was entirely unresolved. But her brother insisted on leaving. She had no choice but to escort him herself. Let's see if Sect Master Kai would show mercy on her behalf. However, that old man appeared. "Dawa, the Heavenly Master orders you not to get involved in the dispute with Sect Master Kai." Dawa became angry. "He is my brother, I must." Impudent, the old man's voice sank, and with one hand raised he grabbed Dawa's shoulder. This grasp covered the entire small courtyard with the imposing force of observing heaven. Feng Jai's pupils grew cold. But Lin Zaiyasu just smiled faintly. "Dawa, rest assured I will be fine." Dawa looked at him in a daze. Lin Zaiyasu raised his gaze to the old man. "Esteemed senior, please also inform the Heavenly Master that I plan to perform a surgical procedure on the giants of the Kun Kang Enlightenment Realm. He should decide early on what course to take." "Surgical procedure, what do you mean?" the old man asked coldly. "If you don't understand, you can ask Dawa." Lin Zaiyasu turned and left. Feng Jai followed. With a swoosh, the wind blew, and their figures disappeared. The old man's face turned ashen as his gaze slowly shifted to Dawa. Dawa's earlier panic seemed inexplicably dispelled at this moment, and she looked at the old man coldly. "You want to know what a surgical procedure is? It's a professional term from outside, taking a knife to a patient and cutting whatever is displeasing. Understand?" The last word was casual, but the contempt was evident. Impudent, the old man was furiously angry. Dawa's expression turned cold. "You're just an old servant of the Heavenly Master Mansion. I am the Heavenly Master's only direct disciple. Conceal your ridiculous superiority before me." Her body suddenly shook, and the old man's hand sprang away. In the next moment, Dawa stepped out of the courtyard wall, swiftly chasing after Lin Zaiyasu. Although Lin Zaiyasu acted confidently, how could Dawa be as optimistic? Even if she exposed all her cards today, she would definitely not allow Kai Lion to actually kill him. However, just as she stepped onto the sky above the courtyard wall, about to exit the house, the formless and intangible air in front of her seemed to become a wall. With a boom, Dawa was directly bounced back. Her expression changed, because the place she returned to was not the small courtyard, but before a massive coffin. Above the coffin, an old man stood quietly, silently watching the distant horizon. "Master." The old man did not lower his head, seemingly completely unaware. Lin Zaiyasu and Feng Jai, one step out of the Heavenly Master Mansion. The next moment, they passed through the Luonian Mountain Gate. Then the next moment, they appeared atop the cliff. This cliff is the path for disciples of the Luonian Heavenly Sect to venture out. The cliff itself has no path, just leap downwards. Yet this leap is also an expression of one's cultivation. Additionally, it showcases one's status. On that day, wasn't it Leng Feiyan who first captured the attention of the entire city here? Today, Lin Zaiyasu and Feng Jai appeared shoulder to shoulder on the cliff, similarly capturing all eyes. On the 10-meter cliff, they did not leap down, because in the void before them on the cliff, a figure suddenly appeared. A scarlet-haired figure like fire. Step void, scarlet hair like fire. Luonian heaven has only one such person. The Luonian sect master, Kai Lion. The entire city was simultaneously silent. Thus, like a super bomb, it ignited a citywide storm. Lin Zaiyasu is once again stopped by sect master Kai. Is there another Heavenly Master Order to save him this time? Impossible. The Heavenly Master Order saved him once. If the Heavenly Master and Sect Master Kai have reached a consensus, they certainly wouldn't block his path today. Exactly, having blocked his path once more, how could Sect Master Kai allow him to escape under his hand again? In an instant, the city was abuzz with discussion. In the corner of the eastern city, an old Taoist tilted his wine gourd and took a large gulp, his eyes gleaming. He was Yin Jiu. And in a high tower in the southern city, Zhang Tianyan sat atop the pavilion, holding a wine cup in hand. Two giants of the Enlightenment realm have been staying in this Luonian city for more than half a month, just waiting for this moment. Two giants of the Enlightenment realm jointly awaiting something. This is unprecedented in Kun Kang. Kid, it seems you have no deep connection with the Heavenly Master, Kai Lion said coldly. Lin Zaiasu stepped out, half a toe over the cliff, and said calmly, "It should be more absolute. I have not a single connection to the Heavenly Master. Thus, today there would be no Heavenly Master order to save your life." Lin Zaiasu replied, "Obviously not." Kai Lion laughed aloud. "Then today, how about I sentence you to death?" His voice echoed throughout the city. These words were the final probe to see if any Enlightenment Realm giants would come forward to protect him. If there were, they should appear now. "Kai Lion, you do not have the right to sentence me to death. In fact, I can sentence you to death," Lin Zaiasu said. "I give you the last chance, submit or die. What is your choice?" His voice similarly spread throughout the city. The entire city was stunned. Submit or die. This was the choice he presented to the giants of the Enlightenment Realm. Madness. Absolute madness. Yin Jiu and Zhang Tianyan's hair suddenly stood still. They realized one thing. Today is the day to witness his hidden trump cards. Because with just a few sentences of dialogue between him and Kai Lion, one of them will definitely not see tomorrow's sun. No, to be more precise, not even today's sunset. Behind Lin Zaiasu, Feng Jai, eyes tightly closed, his mind frantically revolving around a sword move he had just learned, the ultimate sword move of Nirvana swordsmanship, other shore flower. And this sword move avert a catastrophe on the brink of collapse. Can it save a crumbling structure? She had no confidence within her heart. Because facing a giant of the Enlightenment realm, no matter how stunning the sword Tao, it cannot truly bridge the chasm of cultivation. Brother, what exactly is your trump card? Can you really escape this certain death predicament? Those seeking their own path to doom deserve death. Tisho, accompanied by Kai Lion's low shout, a true essence giant finger crushed over. Clang, a sound of sword cry. Lin Zaiasu's five-element sword emerged from his hand. An ultimate move, separation. Pervading azure light, sharp and unmatched. With a hiss, the true essence giant finger reaching him was snapped. In Luonian City, Zhang Tianyan's eyes suddenly changed. Sword Tao azure flower. Clang. The wine cup in the hand of someone beside him fell to the ground. His eyes suddenly widened. This person was Lin Zaiasu's old acquaintance Hu Fu. With the help of Li Sisi, he finally succeeded in hooking up with Zhang Tianyan, and today's banquet was hosted by him. Sword Tao azure flower. It can actually thwart a giant of the Enlightenment realm strike. Is this still the partner from ages past? Chapter 571, Chapter 570, Slaying Kai Lion, cards revealed yet hidden. Kai Lion's eyes glistened with bloodlight, correct. The severed true essence finger restored as before, the bloodlight diffusing on the fingertip, pressing down with force. Lin Zaiasu's longsword in his hand stood erect, as if heaven was leaning. Boom! The bloody finger pointed at the void. But the cliff beneath Lin Zaiasu shattered to pieces. What an abhorrent cultivator die! Kai Lion's palm suddenly flipped, pressing down fiercely. This strike was already a full-force hit, as if facing a giant of the Enlightenment realm. Lin Zaiasu's sword in his hand suddenly shimmered, and the place he was, misty rain Jiangnan. 100 flowers withered, one flower flying. This one flower collided into the center of Kai Lion's true essence giant palm. The palm suddenly spread with cracks. However, a strike from Kai Lion isn't easily broken. Even when subjected to Lin Zaiasu's strongest sword Dao counterattack, it still remained undamaged with its earth-shattering power. The palm brushed past, erasing misty rain Jiangnan with one move. A finger like the sword of doom reached Lin Zaiasu's brow. Kai Lion's eyes were full of menace. Choosing today at this entry cliff to kill him, it was to ensure the scene of his death spread throughout Kun Kang, to tell all of Kun Kang, even if Luonian Heaven lost the double Enlightenment realm advantage. With him Kai Lion here, it was still an overwhelmingly powerful upper three sect. Yet the strike actually came to nothing. This for the giant of the Enlightenment realm was a grave loss of face. But for Lin Zaiasu, it was quite the opposite. His name was greatly elevated. This wretch is so detestable, how can he not be killed? Therefore this strike, he held nothing back. Puff! His finger pierced Lin Ziyasu's brow. No. What was pierced was not the brow, but a spatial crack. A finger pointed into the spatial crack. The earth-shattering power carried on the finger was instantly swallowed by space. Kai Lian's heart jumped space law. His finger swiftly retracted. At this retraction, Lin Ziyasu's finger suddenly lifted. One finger accurately pointed at this finger. Just one point, Kai Lian suddenly felt everything before him changed. A vast star river, 9 night lamps. The lamp's light rolled past, transforming into a sword. Slash! Kai Lian's eyes widened abruptly, filled with immense fear, with intense disbelief. His form standing in the void, the true essence giant shadow fragmented, shrank to normal size. The next moment, Kai Lian fell from the air, turning upside down. Thud! He plunged headfirst below the cliff. His head hit the ground first, then, motionless no more. The whole Luonian city, as if someone pressed a pause button. The pedestrians on the street, all petrified. The people in the tavern, all petrified. Swish! Yinjiu suddenly appeared before Zhang Tianyan. What kind of method? The two Enlightenment realm powers were hidden watching the fight, maintaining a tacit understanding with each other, pretending not to see each other. Yet Kai Lian died at Lin Ziyasu's hand. Yinjiu could no longer bear it, directly came before Zhang Tianyan, and issued a soul-searching question. Zhang Tianyan's body stiffened. This seat wasn't able to see clearly. Taoist, what's your opinion? Suspected primordial spirit secret technique. Primordial spirit secret technique. Zhang Tianyan's mouth opened wide too. For half a month he pondered countless times. Lin Ziyasu and Feng Jai analyzed his trump card. Feng Jai said it was black technology. He believed it. Because this was probably the only thing Lin Ziyasu could possess. After all, he came from the outside world. What was stronger than Kun Kang in the outside world was only technology. Especially after Leng Qingquan was bombed to death by a missile, outside technology became yet more tangible. However, today Kai Lian finally touched his trump card. Yinjiu yet said it was primordial spirit secret technique. Is primordial spirit secret technique technology? Virtually irrelevant. It's the top-tier law in the cultivation path. No one in Kun Kang has comprehended the primordial spirit, yet he can use primordial spirit secret technique. Is this possible? For someone not even in the observing heaven realm to have primordial spirit secret technique. Though he 120% does not believe. But he can't find the answer. He only knows one thing on that day. He walked once on the ghost gate. If Lin Ziyasu would employ the method he used against Kai Lian today on himself, the result would be no different from Kai Lian. This guy, how can he be so terrifying? Not to mention them, even Feng Jai, mouth agape, lost her ability to think. He truly possesses a trump card. Kai Lian, this standard enlightenment realm, thus died at his hand. Kill him, 2 realms mountain roared. Countless shadows soared through the sky, as if heaven and earth were turned upside down. Luonian Heaven Elder's army moved all at once, one time, stirring a fierce wave. Feng Jai's sword in hand suddenly swung. A huge red spider lily blossomed out of thin air in the void. Red spider lily divided the heavens and earth. Before Luonian Heaven Elders, there was nothing but perilous chaotic currents. And the person they wanted to kill at this moment seemed far away on the horizon. This, Luonian Heavenly Great Elder's face changed dramatically. The sect master was killed, the elders both shocked and angry, with emotions in turmoil. Naturally, they went out to encircle. However, after the encirclement, the first wave of counterattack they encountered was an unspeakably exquisite sword Dao. Such sword Dao coming from Lin Ziyasu's hand is terrifying enough. From Feng Jai's hand, it's only more terrifying. Because what does this imply? The 2 people in front of them are all those they cannot capture. The arrow is already on the bowstring, it must be fired. However, once the arrow leaves the string, someone is going to die. Where to go from here? For a moment, every elder's heart was pounding. Suddenly, from the Heavenly Master residence behind them, a figure soared into the sky. As it rose, it covered the sky and blocked out the sun. 1,000 feet Dharma body, towering and earth-shattering. The entire city was shocked. Yin Jihu and Zhang Tianyan exchanged glances. Luonian Heavenly Master, is he actually also in the Enlightenment realm? Yes, even these two giants of the Enlightenment realm did not know that Luonian Heavenly Master was in the Enlightenment realm, as Kun Kang had never had a Heavenly Master rumored to be in the Enlightenment realm. And today, with the Luonian Heavenly Sect Master Kai Lion killed, and the whole Luonian Heaven leaderless, the Luonian Heavenly Master soared into the air, exposing his Enlightenment realm cultivation. Feng Jai's heart trembled, feeling something was wrong. Lin Ziasu had told her that his trump card was a one-time use. Under normal circumstances, having personally slaughtered an Enlightenment realm power, he has the strongest deterrence against other Enlightenment realms, making them afraid to act when uncertain of his trump card. And under the Enlightenment realm, no one can do anything to her. However, of all calculations, one person was missed. The Luonian Heavenly Master. He is in the Enlightenment realm. As the Luonian Heavenly Master, what if he takes action? The great elder of Luonian Heaven bowed deeply. Greetings to the Heavenly Master. Greetings to the Heavenly Master. All the elders bowed simultaneously. The great elder slowly straightened. Now that reckless people have entered our Luonian Heaven, scheming to kill Sect Master Kai, we hope the Heavenly Master will take control and slay the demon. We hope the Heavenly Master will take control and slay the demon. Everyone called in unison. The great elder waved his hand lightly, and everyone went silent. The great elder said, "Now with both sect masters gone, if the Heavenly Master acts to slay the demons, fulfilling the hopes of Luonian's 7,000 disciples, I, the old man, am willing to serve the Heavenly Master as the new master of Luonian." Feng Jai's pupils suddenly contracted. The situation is truly dire. This treacherous great elder of Luonian Heaven has thrown out a bait that no one can resist. As long as the Heavenly Master takes action to kill them, he can justifiably take over Luonian Heaven. Who can resist such temptation? The Heavenly Master has no choice but to act. The Heavenly Master's gaze descended from the heavens. Lin Ziasu looked at him silently, with no sadness or joy on his face. The Heavenly Master slowly opened his mouth. "Elders ask me to slay demons, but do you know what connection the demon before us has with my Heavenly Master mansion?" Everyone looked at each other, hearts jumping wildly. The Heavenly Master said, "Young Master Lin entered my Heavenly Master mansion, relying on the Heavenly Master order. If Kai Lion knew this, he would understand that I would not allow him to intercept halfway. Today, daring to defy me, he died where he deserved." The entire Luonian city, the whole Two Realms mountain, was silent. Everyone's minds whirled madly. Could it be that Kai Lion was not actually killed by Lin Ziasu, but by this Heavenly Master? Just because he defied the Heavenly Master's will. If it was by the Heavenly Master's hand, it would all make sense. Lin Ziasu could not possibly have the ability to kill an Enlightenment realm power, but the Heavenly Master's mysteriousness is unknown. The Heavenly Master lightly waved his hand. "All disciples of Luonian Heaven should make their choice. If you wish to join me, you may enter my Heavenly Master mansion to apply. If you intend to follow Kai Lion to the end, I do not mind removing you." As his voice fell, he stepped forward. With this step, the 1,000-foot Dharma body shrunk to 100 feet. With the next step, he entered the Heavenly Master mansion, his figure disappearing. Lin Ziasu reached out, grabbing Feng Jai's hand. "Senior sister, let's go." The two stepped off the cliff top, landed at the city head, then with the next step, drifted away, landing on the Spring River. A small boat swayed gently, drifting away. The boat left Luonian City, left Luonian Ferry, entered the Spring River, turned a corner. Lin Ziasu and Feng Jai entered the cabin step by step. Once inside the cabin, Lin Ziasu collapsed completely. "Sit down quickly, your blood tower is about to collapse again." Feng Jai was anxious. "This time it's not just the blood tower about to collapse, my brain is empty. Senior sister, lend me your lap." Lin Ziasu plunked down, resting on Feng Jai's lap. Feng Jai's eyes were wide open. Not because he's taking advantage. It's not the first or second time he's done so in front of her. It doesn't count as anything. What she didn't understand was, what does brain empty mean? Actually, what she didn't understand was Lin Ziasu's trump card. What is his trump card? Inspired by Lin Weiyang. Lin Weiyang once used a subdivine skill to kill the Utopia Venerable Master. Today Lin Ziasu used a subdivine skill to kill the Enlightenment Realm Giant. His subdivine skill finally broke through level 30. Once past level 30, he theoretically possessed the means to kill in an invisible form. Of course, that's only theoretical. The reality is, to kill an Enlightenment Realm giant, the difficulty is extraordinary. The Enlightenment Realm giant has true essence protection. Even if it's formless and intangible subdivine skill, trying to penetrate the protective true essence and kill from afar is simply impossible for him. So he needed a series of preparations. Today, the three swords of separation tore the opponent's protective true essence and also brought their body closer. The space crack annihilated Kai Lion's ultimate strike into nothingness. Seizing the moment when Kai Lion's old strength was exhausted and new strength had not yet arisen, and his mind was shaken, using the Sun Lotus as a shield, and adopting the sub-god Thousand Lamp extinguishing, once used by the venerable Hydra Snake and learned by him, he emptied all his sub-divine foundations, transformed it into a stunning strike, executing Kai Lion. With this strike, his spiritual power was completely drained. His sea of consciousness was desolate. And his blood tower, as Feng Jai said, nearly collapsed in the hard confrontation with the Enlightenment Realm. In outsider's eyes, Lin Zaiyasu killed Kai Lion effortlessly. Only Lin Zaiyasu himself knew he had exhausted everything. The strongest sword Dao, the strongest law, sub-divine secret technique, and sub-god treasure. He once told Feng Jai his trump card was one-time use. This was half true and half false. True because if another Enlightenment Realm power acts, he couldn't deploy it again. False because within just one night's time, he could recover too as he was before. Chapter 572, Chapter 571, Heavenly Master's Wild Fantasies. Feng Jai couldn't fathom more for a moment. She didn't need to guess. She familiarly used her thigh as his pillow, familiarly looking at his handsome and gentle face, skillfully using her fingers to gently brush away his disheveled hair, as if tidying her own tangled thoughts. To face the Enlightenment Realm with an observing earth body. And truly killed an Enlightenment Realm. What kind of legend is this? Her experiences in that world were fragmented, seemingly with many legends hidden deep within the sea of consciousness. But are there any legends comparable to this? Apparently not. The world says, the division between observing and enlightenment is a chasm as wide as the heavens. The mightiest observing heaven is never a match for the weakest enlightenment realm. What about him? He hasn't reached observing heaven. Kai Lion wasn't the weakest enlightenment realm either. He just managed it contrary to all expectations. Little junior brother, what kind of person are you? Really want to open up your skull and see all the secrets hidden inside. Kun Kang is not vast, but explosive news spreads instantaneously throughout Kun Kang. Countless communication tokens in Luoyang City activated simultaneously. The entire Kun Kang was in upheaval. This turmoil was 10 times more explosive than the destruction of Xiaoyao Palace and Kangming Palace that day. Because an unusually sensitive person did something that shocked all the high-ranking officials. Lin Zaiyasu killed Kai Lion. No array, no modern weapons, confronting him face-to-face and killing Kai Lion as easily as killing a chicken. Lu Sanqian of Li Palace Road slapped the table and stood up, his hair flying in the wind with a magical rhythm. His son Lu Rufeng and daughter Lu Rusi both with flushed faces. Li Chushui of Chunshui Palace suddenly stood up, the great lake before her undulated, stretching 10 miles. In Shenghua Valley, when Hua Maioi received the news, she was walking under a peach tree. Upon hearing the news, the peach blossoms fell drifting from the tree. In Three Buddha Temple, Abbot Kong Wen slowly closed his eyes, uttering Amitabha like a great voice from the universe, the Buddhist hall resonating for a whole quarter of an hour. Kun Mountain, Chaotic River Valley, Hengshui Sect, Liufeng Sect. Almost all the sect leaders came out of seclusion. The one who started it all, Lin Zaiyasu, finally opened his eyes at dawn the next day. As usual, he was greeted by Feng Jai's gaze. Feeling better? The blood tower is fully restored, but the recovery of my brain will take at least 3 days. Sister, I still need to borrow your thigh. Feng Jai's face showed an indescribable expression. Tell me 3 things, and you can borrow my thigh for 3 days and nights. Ask away, Lin Zaiyasu blinked. The first question, how exactly did you kill Kai Lion? Feng Jai transmitted her thoughts, the question that had tormented her for so long. The question of what his trump card was. This trump card was revealed today. But it seemed not to be. because even though she saw Kai Lion die with her own eyes, she still didn't know what his trump card was in killing Kai Lion. Subdivine secret technique, Lin Zaiasu also transmitted. Subdivine secret technique. Feng Jai finally understood. No wonder this method seemed so similar to the primordial spirit technique. It turns out to be a subdivine skill parallel to the primordial spirit secret technique. She knew the term subdivine skill, but encountering it in reality was a first. The secret that trapped her for so long was finally revealed, unveiled as another secret. Forget it, better to read his strange book slowly in the future. Feng Jai asked the second question. Today you met the Luonian Heavenly Master. What do you think of him? Very interesting, Lin Zaiasu said. Interesting? What do you mean by interesting? Feng Jai asked. Lin Zaiasu slowly raised his gaze, looking up at the sky while lying on her thigh, seemingly choosing his words. Firstly, this person is very shrewd. In the past, he never revealed his enlightenment realm cultivation, but now with the two sect masters of Luonian heaven gone, leaving a leaderless stage, he reveals his enlightenment realm cultivation. Barring surprises, he will easily pluck the peach of Luonian heaven. Feng Jai slightly opened her mouth, wanting to retort with a word or two. But she wasn't just a pretty face. She was a veteran trained in Jianghu and quickly realized Lin Zaiasu was right. Following common reasoning, if the Luonian heavenly sect master was killed by an outsider, the heavenly master should take action to kill this murderer and avenge the sect master, which is the proper course. Yet he did the opposite, directly siding with the murderer, proclaiming that the sect leader of Luonian heaven, Kai Lion, deserved to die. Wouldn't this stir up the fervent wrath of Luonian heaven's subordinates? Yes, that's the common reasoning. This applies only to ordinary sects. Luonian heaven is not like this. The people of Luonian heaven respect power, not virtue, because they are originally a group without virtue. In facing such people, there's no need for kindness and morality, only for deterrence. Whoever dares to oppose him, kill. Even former sect leader Kai Lion is no exception. Who dares to defy him? So Lin Zaiasu's assertion that he reached out today and claimed Luonian heaven is spot on. Lin Zaiasu said, secondly, this person is very contradictory. Contradiction, Feng Jai asked. Senior sister, did you notice that this heavenly master is strong on the outside but weak on the inside? No way, I didn't notice. How did you see it? Feng Jai's heart was pounding. Lin Zaiasu said, his Dharma body looks larger than Kai Lion's, but the structure of his true yuan is very loose. However, this looseness is integrated using very sophisticated methods. How should I put it? There's this feeling. He's perfectly adept at using true yuan, but his foundation is very shaky. Feng Jai pondered, high skill, weak foundation. Why does it sound like possession? With a swish, Lin Zaiasu suddenly jumped up from Feng Jai's lap. Feng Jai was also startled, really. It's possible, very possible. Senior sister, it might just be as you said, Lin Zaiasu replied. Generally, cultivators reach the enlightenment realm through solid cultivation, rarely having a weak foundation. Furthermore, when first entering the enlightenment realm, it's very difficult to use the laws of true yuan freely. It's unlikely to have a contrast where one's handling of true yuan is exemplary, yet their foundation is weak. There is one exception. That is primordial spirit possession. To perform primordial spirit possession, one must have a primordial spirit. Possessing a primordial spirit means what? It means his cultivation level far exceeds the first stage of the enlightenment realm, the enlightenment body stage. Thus, he is skilled in using true yuan. However, the possessor still undergoes an adaptation process, which makes the foundation very weak. Considering this heavenly master's peculiarity of sleeping 29 days a month, the judgment of him being a possessor is almost self-evident. Feng Jai furrowed her brows. I also noticed something crucial. Go on. He's cultivating a life and death system technique as well. Lin Zaiasu's face changed. Feng Jai gently exhaled. If he truly is a primordial spirit possessor, then he needs to replenish his qi. And just beside him, there happens to be an innocent Dawa. What do you think will happen to Dawa? Lin Zaiasu's expression shifted. We need to call Master and return to Heavenly Master Valley. Lin Zaiasu slowly shook his head. No rush. No rush? How can you not be? Dawa is so innocent, so kind. Don't forget you shared such a connection with her. Lin Zaiasu gently exhaled. Thank you for your reminder, senior sister, but her situation is a bit complicated. She's such a simple person, can it be complicated? Feng Jai said, you really need to listen to me this time, or else you'll carry a regret on your path that'll become a hindrance, a demon in your heart. Lin Zaiasu said, Senior sister, let me tell you something truthfully, then you can give me an answer, all right. Speak. Whether or not she is kind is another matter, but she's not a simple girl, Lin Zaiasu said. She's a super nirvana from the nine-headed snake. Anyone who thrives and reaches the end in that organization has faced all sorts of schemes and plots. There isn't a single one who isn't a human genius. Feng Jai was utterly stunned. Lin Zaiasu continued, things that we can discern she has no reason not to. If she wishes to leave, she would definitely find the opportunity. If she chooses not to, she must have her reasons. Feng Jai exhaled deeply. Actually, her interaction with you might just be part of a strategy, right? Indeed. In your heart, this moon's surface had already been sullied. She is known as Qing Yan within the nine-headed snake. Whether this wisp of smoke still veils the moon, I don't know, Lin Zaiasu said. But I gave her the chance and await her final decision. Feng Jai leaned back slowly on the boat, quietly gazing at the sky. Lin Zaiasu said, indeed, kindness and trust are the most beautiful things in this world. Yet in this somewhat twisted state of affairs, sometimes we must respect others' destinies. Don't you agree, senior sister? Indeed, floating clouds obscure the sights. Feng Jai sighed longingly. I have one last question. Where to next? Return to Shenghua Valley. Feng Jai showed a hint of moving emotion in her eyes. You said, return. Yes, when I entered Kunkang, Shenghua Valley was the first place I went, and you were the first woman I saw there. Those few days and nights in Shenghua Valley gave me a sense of tranquility and peace akin to a home, so using return isn't overly sentimental in theory. Feng Jai gave him a resentful look. Just a reminder, the first woman you met in Shenghua Valley wasn't me, but the little junior sister. You even had a fight with her, remember? Her, just a little brat, does she count as a woman? Would you dare say that in front of her? If she doesn't beat you to death, I doubt reality. The small boat drifted gently. Words flowed, starlight shimmered, water glided, heading towards Shenghua Valley. At dawn the next day, the boat turned into a river channel. Lin Zaiasu was very familiar with this channel. It was the river he left through after unlocking Shenghua Valley's grand array, and was first shown Enlightenment Realm combat power by Hua Maioi. The channel from past days remains unchanged. Except now, the two mountain peaks beside it no longer belong to Tianyan Palace, but are under Hua's domain. These were personally seized by Hua Maioi from Tianyan Palace, with the three Buddha temples High Monk adjudicating, compensating Shenghua Valley through Zheng Tianyan. Feng Jai steered the boat back, and Shenghua Valley disciples along the banks bowed, addressing her as Master Senior Sister. Their words were respectful, but their gazes were presumptive. Their eyes fixed on Lin Zaiasu's face, their guesses likely outrageous. This Master Senior Sister was unrivaled below Enlightenment, already famous in Kunkang. Accompanying her rise to fame were rumors. Many said the Master Senior Sister was kidnapped by Lin Zaiasu. Feng Jai visibly gained weight, and among the disciples there was another take. Many said the Master Senior Sister was watered and nourished by him, possibly even pregnant. Feng Jai occasionally heard such talk, leaving her silently exasperated. Seeing the disciples gaze towards him, certain they wouldn't have anything nice to say, Feng Jai felt perplexed why the river stretch seemed so long. Chapter 573, Chapter 572, Scandals in Shenghua Valley. Fortunately, no matter how long the river is, under Feng Jai's inner strength, the small boat moves with ease. Up ahead is the Shenghua Valley, familiar to both her and Lin Zaiasu. The red flowers and green trees on both banks seem to arrive earlier than the outside world. The peach blossom on Zunju Peak is especially enchanting. The two leave the boat and ascend, reaching the tree after a few leaps. As the fragrance of peach blossoms wafts into the nostrils, another mysterious flower scent drifts from the cave. The wind blows and the clothes flutter, as a woman stands gracefully at the cave's entrance. Hua Maioi. Time flows like water, taking away youth and leaving behind frost on others, but on her it only takes away dust, leaving spring forever. Lord Hua, Lin Zaiasu bows. Hua Maioi smiles gently. Just standing in the place where the young master stood, I heard rumors from Jianghu. The young master defeated Kai Lion in one battle, stirring the tides of Kunkang, a wave that will last for a century. Actually, during this time, I've fought alongside my elder sister, not just killing Kai Lion, Lin Zaiyasu says. Hua Maioi's body trembles. In the yin-yang temple, Yang Jiu Lai didn't go astray on his path due to divine retribution, but because he chose the wrong side and suffered the consequences. Lin Zaiyasu adds. Hua Maioi completely stops breathing. It seems Feng Jai also stops breathing. She knows that an important matter concerning Kun Kang is about to be revealed. Hua Maioi takes a deep breath. Tea has been prepared, young master. Please enter the inner cave for a detailed discussion. The inner cave with a pond dark as night, a tree beautiful as a painting, and a cliff boundless. Feng Jai serves tea, and Lin Zaiyasu accepts it. Hua Maioi also lifts her cup of tea. Young master, this time entering Kun Kang, are you targeting the upper three sects? The ecology of Kun Kang is established by the upper three sects. If we want to redefine Kun Kang's ecology, the upper three sects must be broken. What about Yinjiu? Hua Maioi softly mentions the name. Lin Zaiyasu says, Yinjiu, though appearing unkempt, has a mind full of schemes. If I could grasp him once, I can grasp him a second time. Hua Maioi says, is Luanian Heavenly Master also a pawn similar to Yinjiu? 1,000 people have 1,000 faces. This person is not Yinjiu, he needs observation. Lin Zaiyasu says, however, currently, Luanian Heaven has been knocked down from the upper three sects, no need to consider. Hua Maioi takes a deep breath. Currently, the only one that needs consideration is the Three Buddha Temple. Indeed, the Three Buddha Temple has already revealed its fangs, which are incompatible with the Buddhist ethos. Oh, Hua Maioi says, since you've left Kun Kang, from the day the new structure of Kun Kang was born, the Three Buddha Temple has become less and less like a Buddhist sect. 70 to 80% of the disciples who left Shenghua Valley have died at their hands, already reached 201, and the same goes for Li Palace and Chunchui Palace. I've discussed this many times with Chunchui and Lu Sanqian, vaguely guessing at the malicious intent of the Three Buddha Temple. They aim to weaken our sect's strength in this manner, specifically targeting second and third generation heavenly prides. If Feng Jai wasn't necessary to capture, she'd be their top target for elimination. Eradicating the roots, Lin Zaiyasu asks. Exactly. It is said that this method was suggested by an outsider named Hu Fu, who said, the younger generation is the hope for any sect's long-term development. Cutting off the new generation is to cut off the root itself. Feng Jai continues, I originally wanted to eliminate this Hu Fu, but my master was too compassionate, adamantly refusing. Hua Maioi says, actually, I'm not compassionate. It's just that this trend must not continue. If everyone imitates this method to cut off the other's root, no one can escape the avalanche, and the entire cultivation ecology of Kun Kang will become unbearably harsh, which will lead to its eventual destruction. Feng Jai nods. My master speaks wisely, I have also realized this. Lin Zaiyasu slowly withdraws his gaze from afar. The Three Buddha Temple committed such evil deeds. Have you reasoned with Kong Wen? Naturally, however, Kong Wen adamantly denies it. Without irrefutable proof, there's nothing I can do. Lin Zaiyasu says, how about this? Lord Hua, you take me to the place where your valiant disciples perished. Let me see if it was really the work of the Three Buddha Temple. Hua Maioi and Feng Jai are both shocked. Jianghu murder, treacherous tides. Even if there is evidence, it fades in a few days, with a whole year span how to find clues. Lord Hua must know, I am a detective. Lin Zaiyasu says, finding murderers and evidence is my strongest field. Hua Maioi's mind swirls with emotions. His first entry into Kun Kang, breaking the Shenghua trapped array, his array path was terrifyingly strong, yet it wasn't his field. His second entry into Kun Kang, destroying Xiaoyao Palace and Kangmeng Palace, establishing Kun Kang's structure, his methods were terrifyingly strong, yet it also wasn't his field. His third entry into Kun Kang, tearing apart the Enlightenment realm, his battle capabilities were terrifyingly strong, still not his field. But today he is revealing his truly strongest field, detective. Even though a whole year has passed, even though Jianghu murders have always been unpredictable, still when he decides to investigate, Hua Maioi can only obey. Now, Hua Maioi reaches the cliff's edge, extends her hand, and grabs Lin Zaiasu's hand, the next moment breaking through the air. This is the Enlightenment realm. Linkung step void, 1,000 miles a day. In Kun Kang, coming and going in an instant. Feng Jai is in a daze. She does not quite understand what he is doing. He also mentioned that time is very precious, with March 3rd not more not less, just 1 month away. Is there time to investigate these old cases? Though with the large number of Shenghua Valley disciples killed, she too wants to know who is responsible. Priority matters. Revenge for those brother and sister disciples isn't the immediate focus. Directly dealing with the three Buddha temple wouldn't be much difference. Suddenly there's a loud shout from outside the cave. Senior sister. It's the voice of little junior sister Gu Yu. Who is Gu Yu? She is the first girl Lin Ziasu met when he first entered Shenghua Valley. This girl, without a word, fought with him from the cliff to the pool and was dealt with by Lin Ziasu, his little junior sister. Feng Jai stepped out from the cave and saw the fiery little junior sister Gu Yu. Gu Yu shouted, "Senior sister, I just saw Master flying with a man. Has old Lin pervert come?" Oh my heavens! This nickname originated from the last time Lin Ziasu entered Kun Kang and wandered Jianghu with Feng Jai. That excursion visibly fattened Feng Jai. Little junior sister Gu Yu circled around Feng Jai 3 times, touched her belly and said, "Senior sister, did some old pervert make you pregnant?" Then she started asking around about the person closest to her, and after inquiring, it turned out to be Lin Ziasu. Thus, the unknown old pervert was labeled with the surname Lin. This is the origin of the term Old Lin pervert. In ordinary times, old pervert could be viewed as a joke by Feng Jai, but these 3 words, Old Lin pervert, once caused quite a scandal in Shenghua Valley. How could Feng Jai consider it lightly? Glared angrily. "This time there's no way I'm mistaken. You've definitely plumped up again. My mother said it's the inevitable result of a woman messing around with someone." Gu Yu said, "Senior sister, do you still dare to deny that Lin pervert did this to you this time?" With a wave of Feng Jai's hand, peach blossoms from nearby branches wrapped around little junior sister Gu Yu, hanging her up on the spot. Splat, splat, splat. 3 crisp sounds, with peach blossoms splattering on Gu Yu's butt. Note, real peach blossoms. Gu Yu shrieked, "The one who took your man was Master, not me. What's the point of venting on me? If you have the skills, go duel with Master." Everyone at Zunju Peak was dumbfounded. There are signs that Gu Yu might have created a new scandal. This scandal must not be spoken of. Everyone should pretend they didn't hear it. This includes the 2 elders halfway up Zunju Peak. These 2 elders are the first and second under the Lord of Shenghua Valley, the Great Elder and the Second Elder. The Second Elder's gaze turned to Feng Jai above, his eyes a bit complicated. "Great Elder, what kind of ability is it to restore one's chi by killing?" Although Gu Yu's words were unreliable, her insight is sharp. She revealed a truth. That is, Feng Jai, after leaving the valley, really had become a bit fuller. Gu Yu interpreted this in her simple yet sensational thinking. It's the truth her mother spoke of. A woman gets nourished when she does that with a man. Of course, the 2 elders wouldn't be so idle. They stand tall, see far, and know much. They know the reason behind it. The reason is Feng Jai's peculiar law. She was initially just bones, and the Lord used the profound life law to extend her life. But for a long time she was all skin and bones. Why? Because her recovery is very unique. It's not through eating but through killing. The Great Elder still remembers what the Lord once told him. The Lord said, Shenghua Valley should be grateful for Feng Jai's goodwill. Why say this? Because during the 100 years Feng Jai was trapped in Shenghua Valley, she didn't kill a single person from Shenghua Valley, which is why she was a skeleton for so long. Until the blockade of Shenghua Valley was lifted. She ventured into Jianghu and opened her gate of slaughter, and only then did she slowly recover to her current normal figure. And this time, Feng Jai is visibly plumper compared to the last time. What does this illustrate? It illustrates that during her latest venture out of the valley, she killed again, and the person she killed had quite an impressive skill. The higher the cultivation of the person killed, the more evident the recovery effect. The Second Elder saw through this underlying logic, yet he didn't know the principle. He was definitely not an ignorant person. He had almost read all the books in the Kangshu Pavilion of Shenghua Valley, and he was also a renowned old hand in Jianghu. However, he didn't understand why this was. The Great Elder said, reincarnation law. Reincarnation, the Second Elder's heart leapt. The reincarnation law, it's the most mysterious among the heavenly Tao 7 techniques. No one can know its reasoning, yet The heavenly Tao balances, intercepting the reincarnation road of others to supplement one's own may indeed be possible. The second elder was shocked inside. Intercepting another's reincarnation to supplement one's own. Could this really be feasible? What kind of origin does this senior disciple of Shenghua Valley have? Outside Shenghua Valley, white clouds floated by. Above the white clouds, Hua Maioi appeared as if a fairy descended to the mortal world. Beside her was Lin Zaiasu. Why did Lin Zaiasu need Hua Maioi's cooperation? Because the places in Kun Kang where Shenghua Valley disciples were killed were numerous. High in the skies, reverse time, the efficiency was evidently higher. The skill of reverse time was displayed. Lin Zaiasu himself was delighted. Chapter 574, Chapter 573, The Moon Returns, Qing Yan Departs. Unbeknownst to him, Lin Zaiasu's reverse time skill had already spanned a whole year. He was able to trace back everything that happened within the past year. From reversing a few days' time to now effortlessly reversing an entire year, he had indeed made great progress in mastering the time law. As impressive as the time law might be, he had yet to find its place on the battlefield. It seemed there was no way to use it in combat, but his level as a detective was becoming increasingly refined. In the first murder case, he saw the killer. The killer entered the Three Buddha Temple. In the second murder case, the killer still entered the Three Buddha Temple. The third, the fourth. On this day, from morning till the sun set in the west, Lin Zaiasu spent it in the air with Hua Maioi. 30 murder scenes, involving the mysterious deaths of 137 people. It's getting late, how about we investigate tomorrow, Hua Maioi said. Her voice was calm as usual. Lin Zaiasu gently shook his head, no need to investigate further. Hua Maioi was slightly startled. The urgency of time leaves me no opportunity to truly clarify the case. I only need an excuse, Lin Zaiasu said. Now that I've got the excuse, we need to prepare. Hua Maioi's heart pounded. Are you truly determined that it's related to the Three Buddha Temple? It's not just related, it's them who did it, Lin Zaiasu said. That damn temple door should be exterminated. Exterminate, Hua Maioi uttered a word. Yes, Lin Zaiasu said. Among the three major superior sects, Yin-Yang Temple could be split, Luanian Heaven could be oppressed, but the Three Buddha Temple must be wiped out. Hua Maioi said, I'll contact Chunshui and Lu Sanqian. No need. No need, Hua Maioi was surprised again. The more understated this battle appears, the greater the impact on Kun Kang, and the more influence it will have on my subsequent game. Lin Zaiasu said, therefore, the battle to wipe out the Three Buddha Temples should be borne by Shenghua Valley alone, which is the best strategy. Hua Maioi fully understood what he was saying. In Kun Kang, power is respected, not virtue. The subtlety of extinguishing a sect will have more deterrence on other sects than rallying the combined strength of three sects to crush one. However, relying solely on the power of Shenghua Valley to challenge the currently strongest sect in Kun Kang, the Three Buddha Temple. Can it really be done? Whether it can be done or not will be revealed in 3 days. Lin Zaiasu returned with Hua Maioi to Shenghua Valley. Entered into the side courtyard. Feng Jai served as his secretary. As soon as Lin Zaiasu shut the door, he began an activity that made Feng Jai's heart race. What kind of activity? Do not misunderstand, it was absolutely proper. He was engraving an array. The array crystal pillars on him were all present, his mastery of the 5 elements complete. His fingers were like an array pen, falling swiftly like the wind. Feng Jai did not enter. She remained outside the door. With anticipation, with excitement. However, on the 3rd evening after Lin Zaiasu had completed everything, Feng Jai knocked on his door, her eyes carrying a hint of mystique as she looked at him. Senior sister, what's the matter? Don't call me senior sister, please call me Little Yi, Feng Jai said. Lin Zaiasu's heart skipped a beat, and his gaze turned towards the door. Tonight the sky is without a moon, perhaps the moon is lying under that tree. Feng Jai pointed to a tree on the hillside. How about admiring the moon? Under that tree stood a bashful maiden. Indeed, beneath the starlight she was bashful. From any angle, she was an ideal image of a naive and pure girl. Dawa she had arrived. Brother, Dawa watched Lin Zaiasu approach from under the starlight, her face full of pure joy, really resembling the moon in the sky, quietly landing beneath the tree. Why have you come? Lin Ziyasu greeted with a smile. Dawa said, "You told me to come, you said. You wanted to leave Kun Kang with me." This statement Lin did indeed say. However, Lin Ziyasu mused slightly. The task at hand isn't finished yet. I plan to invite you in a few days. A hint of grievance flashed in Dawa's eyes. Brother, in your eyes, is Dawa meant only to accompany you in peaceful times at the border, unable to entrust a genuine care during life and death battles? No, really not, Lin Ziyasu said. With you taking this step, does your master agree? I don't care if he agrees or not, I snuck away, Dawa giggled. Is he asleep again? Yes. After this affair is settled, will you return? Dawa gently shook her head. I won't go back. I'll leave Kun Kang with you, return home to see my clan. I want to savor the prairie moonlight unshrouded by mist. Moonlight on the prairie unshrouded by light mist. It seemed just a poetic expression, yet perhaps conveyed more. Lin Ziyasu's gaze slowly lifted. Little Yi. Feng Jai stepped out from behind the tree. Lin Ziyasu smiled slightly. This moon wishes to light up our night sky. Can we give her a place? Dawa smiled, her smile still as pure. The next day, February 2nd. In the morning, the wind rustled, making the bodhi tree rustle. The morning bell sounded, clear and long. The three Buddha temple, incense smoke curling up. The long Buddhist hall was spacious and bright, with 300 monks sitting on the ground for morning class. Above them were 3 eminent monks dressed in red robes, the 3 Kong senior monks of the 3 Buddha temple, Abbot Kong Wen, the chief of the Arhat Hall, Kong Ru, and the chief of scripture, Master Kong Xing. Master Kong Xing was delivering a lecture on the Huyan Sutra. At that time, the world-honored one was seated here, having attained the utmost correct enlightenment in all things. His wisdom pervaded the 3 times equally. His body filled all worldly spaces, and his voice harmoniously spread to lands of the 10 directions. Suddenly, his voice came to an abrupt halt. His gaze lifted, shooting beyond the clouds. Kong Wen and Kong Ru's gaze suddenly lifted as well. The sky rippled, clouds swayed, and 2 figures walked on air toward them. With a whoosh, as the strong wind arose, the 2 directly landed on the high platform. The person on the left was like a celestial fairy, the lord of Shenghua Valley, Hua Maioi. The person on the right wore an outside-world jacket and a pair of white sneakers, a sartorial anomaly in Kun Kang. It was none other than Lin Ziyasu. Amitabha, Kong Wen rose to greet them. Lord Hua's grand arrival makes our humble temple shine with glory. Please join us in the Buddhist hall for tea. No need, Lin Ziyasu said. Let's say a few words here instead. The 3 senior monks of the 3 Buddha temple were shocked simultaneously. Even in the Jianghu, there are etiquettes to be observed. Hua Maioi, being a sect master, had already committed a breach of etiquette by descending onto the 3 Buddha temple's lecture platform without prior notice. It was magnanimous of Abbot Kong when not to pursue the matter. Yet Lin Ziyasu, a junior, also landed on the lecture platform without observing the basic etiquette of bowing to show respect. He did fine by not apologizing, but he even took the initiative to speak up. If it were a general sect, the other party would have directly reprimanded him. Do you understand etiquette, boy? On what grounds are you speaking out of turn? However, the 3 Buddha temple was not an ordinary sect. It was a Buddhist temple. Even if there was anger, it was as concealed as possible from the public view. Kong Wen, with a faint smile, said, What does Master Lin wish to say? Let's talk about the tragic deaths of Shenghua Valley disciples over the past year, Lin Ziyasu said. Upon investigation, among the disciples from Shenghua Valley who went out, 137 innocently met a cruel end at the hands of the 3 Buddha temple. Abbot Master, I ask, was this arranged by you? The entire audience of monks was collectively stunned. Kong Wen's face darkened slightly. Amitabha, after a year apart, Master Lin's habit of speaking nonsense seems to have worsened. Speaking nonsense, Lin Ziyasu sneered. How about I directly point out the evidence on the spot? Evidence? Kong Ru couldn't hold back. May I ask, benefactor, how you could conjure evidence out of thin air? Like this, Lin Ziyasu extended his right hand, spinning it close to the ground. 13 leaves rose into the air and fell into his palm. With a wave of his hand, the entire Buddhist hall seemed to take a step into Misty Rain Jiangnan. In Misty Rain Jiangnan, 13 bodhi leaves floated up. The monks below were shocked all at once. They were not ordinary monks. those qualified to sit in the Buddhist hall and listen to the giants of the enlightenment realm at close range, were at least at the pinnacle of the observing earth level. Yet under Lin Ziasu's Li Ren Tier's realm, they suddenly felt totally constrained, unable to move. Among them, 9 watched helplessly as a leaf stuck to their foreheads. The other 4 were all in the observing heaven realm, capable of counterattacks. As the leaves, carrying mysterious energy, shot toward their foreheads, the 4 simultaneously raised their palms, energy swirling within to meet the incoming leaf. Boom! 4 figures soared into the air, crashing into the Buddhist hall behind them. Everyone's eyes widened simultaneously. Even Hua Maioi's pretty eyes were filled with brilliant colors. This move was delicate to the extreme. Lin Ziasu's 13 leaves, within his misty range Yongnan realm, flew toward 13 individuals. Those unable to resist had the leaves lightly stick to their foreheads, causing no harm. But those capable of resistance, the peeping heaven masters, were sharply knocked away. Just a handful of leaves, yet in his hands, manifested both hardness and softness. Soft as light rain touching silk. Hard as swallowing the mountains and rivers. This was not a mere technique. This was a display of sword intent. Lin Ziasu possessing sword intent in this venture to Kun Kang was already no secret after several displays. Now, witnessing this effortless display in person, the major figures still felt they had underestimated him. His sword intent was extraordinary. Perhaps it wasn't just sword intent, it was sword intent green flower. Only they could see this. Kang Wen raised his hand, his monk's robe flapped, and with a gust of wind, the misty rain Jiangnan realm was suddenly swept away. He held one palm in front of his chest. Master Lin's sword intent is truly exquisite. Was entering my 3 Buddha temple this time just to show off some skills. Not at all, Lin Ziasu said. I mentioned earlier, this is merely to indicate the murderer of the innocents by the 3 Buddha temple. As soon as the voice fell, his hand suddenly grasped. With a whoosh, a monk who had just been slammed into the corner was dragged in front of him out of thin air. Speak, Lin Ziasu said. Was it you who killed the 7 Shenghua Valley disciples by the chaotic wind riverbank? Yes. A loud yes answered. Everyone present was petrified. The monks below almost couldn't believe their ears. The 4 giants on the high platform also couldn't believe it. Admitted just like that. How could it be possible? Kang Wen's face turned ash-gray. Huoquan Yu. The next word was emphasized suddenly, like a raging torrent, surging toward the monk under Lin Ziasu's hand. Suddenly, Hua Maioi took a step forward, blocking in front of Huoquan. Her hair fluttered abruptly, sending Kang Wen's sonic wave back. Hua Maioi's voice was icy. Master Kang Wen, you even used the thunderous Buddha sound. Is it because you don't want him to speak? The thunderous Buddha sound from Kang Wen failed to affect Huoquan. Lin Ziasu's voice pierced straight through. Speak, who ordered you? Chapter 575. Chapter 574. The reversal array destroys the 3 Buddha temple. The abbot master personally issued the order. Why is that? Qianlong is blocking Kun Kang, Shenghua Valley, Chunshui Palace, and Li Palace have rising potential. The 3 Buddha temple needs to take action to cut the roots of these 3 sects. Only then can it solidify its position as the foremost sect in Kun Kang. Are the 12 people below tasked with the same mission as you? Lin Ziasu pointed to the people below with Badhai leaf markings on their foreheads. Yes. Lin Ziasu slowly turned back. Hua Maioi's gaze slowly returned from afar. Both pairs of eyes landed on the 3 noticeably shiny heads on the high platform. Kang Wen's gaze slowly lifted. The flowing black lines on his face silently disappeared. Amitabha, is Master Lin's technique the demon sound enchanting heart technique of the former demon sect? The abbot master accuses my heart cleansing technique as the demon sound enchanting heart. Is it my deliberate intention to frame him for you? Lin Ziasu replied coldly. Exactly, Kang Ru said. The remnants of the demon sect are intolerable to Buddhist principles. Everyone should kill them. After speaking, he stepped into the northeast corner. This step formed a wedge position with Kang Wen and Kang Xing. Kang Xing gently lifted his hand, spreading his wide sleeves. Lord Hua, the 3 Buddha temple is determined to clear the remnants of the demon sect from Jianghu. This child already embodies the demon's appearance and needs to stay at our temple to purify their Buddhist nature. I hope Lord Hua doesn't join the demon and speak for it. Lin Ziasu slowly raised his gaze. I am a detective. In the way of detectives, if the stage where the suspect is identified and confessed is reached, it is essentially closed. But in the Three Buddha Temple, even if your disciples confess to crimes, there is still a way for you to keep the truth hidden by labeling someone as demon sect remnants and silencing them. Amitabha, Kong Wen said, the words of evil demons are indeed venomous. Lin Asu sighed lightly. In the past, I said your Three Buddha Temple was a Yifo temple, a mistake indeed. Even a single Buddha while claiming supremacy can still be regarded as Buddhist. From today's view, your temple lacks any Buddha nature. Perhaps it's better renamed No Buddha Temple. Master Lin's sharp words outshine a blade's edge. I have long taught this. However, today is not a day for discussing philosophy but for subjugating demons. Kong Wen clasped his palms together. Clasping those palms was the signal to act. Originally, Lin Asu visited alongside giants of the Enlightenment realm, generally avoiding conflict wherever they went. But today was an exception, because this was the Three Buddha Temple, with 3 giants of the Enlightenment realm present. And because Lin Asu was overly dangerous, once he employed his powers in Kun Kang, he would expose the temple's secrets. Thus, even if it was risky today, he had to be killed on the spot. Hua Maioi would certainly resist. However, as but one Hua Maioi, she entered the Three Buddha Temple's stronghold. What impact could she have? Lin Asu suddenly laughed. Kong Wen, you think I came today as meat for your chopping block. You're wrong. I just wanted to see if your temple had any chance of salvation. In fact, it does not. The pupils of the 3 giants suddenly constricted. So what? Kong Wen uttered 3 words. These 3 words, perhaps for the first time in his life, did not resemble the demeanor of a high monk, because these words were exceptionally sinister. Extinction. 1 word. With decisiveness. Accompanied by eerie serenity. A soft buzzing sound. From Lin Asu's fingertips, a thread of golden light ascended through the air. Kong Wen was already prepared, his robe fluttering, immediately covering the sky. Amitabha, intending to summon help. Theoretically, even if Lin Asu had special communication means, this robe should block them. This is the giants of the Enlightenment realm's control power. However, this strand of gold surpassed Kong Wen's comprehension. As the gold thread appeared, countless gold threads simultaneously formed in the sky. This thread served as a guide, leading all heavenly gold threads. The threads linked directly, injecting true yuan, theoretically isolating all things, but the robe couldn't block anything. Kong Wen was astonished, looking up. The sky was filled with gold threads, like a giant fishnet, enclosing the entire Three Buddha Temple tightly. Array, Kong Xing shouted. What of the array? This is a Buddhist sacred ground. In Buddhism, we are supreme. Kong Ru's body suddenly expanded, growing into a 1,000-feet Dharma body. However, right as his body expanded, suddenly came a muffled hum. The 1,000-feet Dharma body seemed struck by lightning, collapsing with a boom, and he himself sat down, drenched in sweat. Boom! Kong Xing and Kong Wen suddenly felt their entire blood flow reverse. With reversed blood flow, horrific true yuan rampaged within their bodies. Kong Xing's cultivation was slightly inferior, and in an instant, his blood tower was directly destroyed, spewing fresh blood, collapsing in a sitting position. This was not external force. This was their own blood reversing. The higher the cultivation, the greater the destructive reversal. Kong Wen's millennial accumulation was fully displayed. His spirit platform pressed heavily. Danshan instantly locked tightly, forcibly halting the blood reversal. However, the source of this reversal was elusive. It was as if the very heavens reversed, and despite his millennia of cultivation, his body teetered precariously. Meanwhile below, the monks almost simultaneously spat blood and collapsed. Their blood towers were simultaneously destroyed. At this moment, the entire Three Buddha Temple, over 7,000 disciples, suffered the same calamity. Those at the observing earth realm with established blood towers saw their towers destroyed. Those without established towers at the observing human realm actually benefited. Though their blood reversed without towers to shatter, their meridians suffered injuries. Only those without cultivation simply felt nauseated, the sky spinning, crashing down without internal injuries. Hua Maioi, behind Lin Asu, located outside the array, was unaffected. Her heart instantly stirred like 3 rivers. This is the heavenly yin-yang chaos array. How terrifying is this great array? It's tailored for cultivators specifically. So long as there's cultivation, the reverse blood flow obliterates cultivation, destroys the blood tower, undermines root, and those with heavenly star will see it fall. Those in enlightenment realm will be brought down. Kongwen, this array is named the heavenly yin-yang chaos array, Lin Zaiasu said. It targets only cultivators, sparing ordinary people. This compassion of mine, doesn't it show I possess more Buddhist nature than you? Kongwen's face twisted. The rage nearly shattered his Buddhist heart. But at this moment, he absolutely could not let anger take over. He had to firmly guard his spirit platform and forcefully block the reverse flow of his vital energy and blood. Lin Zaiasu laughed. You think that by tightly guarding against the reverse flow of your blood, you have hope to smoothly pass the tribulation. How naive, how foolishly laughable. If you don't resist, your cultivation will be wasted. If you do resist, I can only kill you. Now I'll give you a choice. I'll count to 3, and if you're still standing, that's a path of self-seeking death. 1. Kongwen's whole body shook. At this moment, all his cultivation was used to lock the reverse flow of his energy and blood. How could he resist an external kill? And the entire 3 Buddha temple was shrouded under the great array. All had their cultivation destroyed, and there was no one who could help him. The vast 3 Buddha temple, thousands of disciples, were wiped out by a single array. This, 2, the cold, merciless count came through. In an instant, 1,000 years passed through Kongwen's heart. Why? Why is it like this? 3. Kongwen suddenly raised his head, Amitabha. Swoosh. A sword flew over. Kongwen's Buddhist chant was unfinished, and his head soared high into the sky. A dignified giant of the enlightenment realm. In the minds of most people in Kunkang, the foremost expert, the abbot of 3 Buddha temple, Kongwen, died without an ounce of dignity as a master. Moreover, before dying, he seemed to connect all his life's experiences, filled with regret, hatred, and confusion. Was I wrong? Was I truly wrong? At which point did I err? The paths of Buddha and man are vast, yet he could not find his answer. Up you go, 3 words from Lin Zaiasu. Hua Maioi gave him a deep look. Her hand rose, grasping his shoulder. Silently and without sound, she flew high into the sky. Below, a golden circle. Inside the golden circle, golden light was suffusing. The entire 3 Buddha temple was all shrouded within the golden circle. Surrounding it were 36 bases of Shenghua Valley. Among them was a beauty, cheeks slightly red, looking innocent and shy. She was Dawa. Lin Zaiasu had told Fengjai to give this moon its place in the vast night sky. Her place was found in the midst of the battle formation, to give her a base point, making her one of the base points in the annihilation of 3 Buddha temple. The heavenly yin-yang chaos array will stir a new storm in Kunkang, Hua Maioi said softly. That's exactly the kind of storm I want, Lin Zaiasu said. Can you foresee what kind of form the storm will take? Hua Maioi asked. Just like this, Lin Zaiasu lightly pointed his hand. In the northwest corner, a Dharma body appeared without any sound. Long-bearded and purple-faced, the sect master of chanting sect, Zai Yun. In the northeast corner, 3 Dharma bodies appeared almost simultaneously. The sect leaders of Kishui sect, Yes sect, and Luohua sect gathered together. In the southwest corner, a figure of immeasurable grace, Chunshui Palace Master Li Chushui arrived. With a swoosh, a sword light cut across the long sky, seemingly splitting the northwestern sky in 2, Li Palace Master Lu Sanqian. Without a sound in the sky, dozens of Dharma bodies appeared almost simultaneously. Among the Kunkang giants of the enlightenment realm, except for a few, the rest all appeared, as Kunkang was not vast. Once the array's mystical mechanism was revealed, all the giants could sense it, and with such sensitivity they all came. What has happened? Zai Yun asked in a deep voice. Tianyan Palace Master Zheng Tianyan shouted, Hua Maioi, do you dare to use an array against 3 Buddha temple? Indeed, Kunkang must have limits. Such blatant use of an array against 3 Buddha temple cannot be tolerated. Someone in the northwest corner roared, destroy the outer array masters first. His hand suddenly lifted, raising a palm to the sky, about to strike at an array base under his feet. Once this palm fell, the array would surely be destroyed, and people would die. However, this palm had just formed. With a swoosh, a sword came from the west like a deity descending, splitting the true essence giant palm in 2. Lu Sanqian pointed his long sword remotely. Dongfei, if you dare to move another inch, I will annihilate you. Dongfei, sect leader of three immortals cave. With an extremely bad temper, Lu Sanqian, you've only been in the enlightenment realm a few short years. How dare you be impudent in front of your predecessors? What, comparing time spent in the enlightenment realm, are we? You've spent longer in the realm, yet you're still no match for me. That only proves you're trash. Whoosh! Dongfei raised his hand, a large saber suddenly illuminating the sky. Zheng Tianyan shouted loudly, "Fellow cultivators, rescue the three Buddha temple." At his shout, more than a dozen people moved simultaneously, and suddenly, true essence giant palms covered the sky, and the bright day instantly turned as dark as night. At this time Lin Zaiyasu spoke, "Withdraw." As the word fell, all the base points simultaneously withdrew their power. The golden light that filled the sky disappeared here. The eyes of the giants fell towards the temple below, their hearts simultaneously shaking. Chapter 576, Chapter 575, Facing the Titans and Naming Terms. On the high platform of the Buddhist hall, the three red figures were so conspicuous. Two were sitting cross-legged, Kong Ru and Kong Zeng. One had lost its head, it must be Kong Wen. Kong Wen was dead. What about Kong Ru and Kong Zeng? Everyone, it is not because you requested that I stop this array, but because my purpose has been achieved. Lin Zaiyasu said, the three Buddha temples, three giants of the enlightenment realm, two are crippled and one is dead. Among all the monks, any cultivator now has his cultivation completely destroyed. Please face this matter directly first. The hearts of the giants shook greatly. From this moment on, the three Buddha temple was already gone. There was no river of blood, no brutal killing. With a simple gesture, the super powerhouse of a millennium fame, actually the one holding the lead in Kun Kang, the three Buddha temple, reached its end. What kind of monstrous array is this? Yin Jiu's eyelids twitched wildly. What kind of array is this? With this shout everyone gasped. You, the array master of Kun Kang, claiming to be the number one in the array path of Kun Kang, don't even know what Lin Zaiasu's array is. Yin Jiu's eyes met the strange gaze of the other grandmasters, and his heart jumped. Damn, isn't this exposing his weakness? However, in a moment of urgency just now, he couldn't take back his words, so he waited for an answer. Lin Zaiasu said, this array is the heavenly yin-yang chaos array. Once formed, everyone within the array will have their blood flow reversed, collapsing the blood tower, only severing cultivation without harming lives. Essential for home use, it highlights the Buddha nature of the array. Highlight Buddha nature. Damn! Almost all the giants had tumultuous waves in their hearts. You call severing one's cultivation path, highlighting Buddha nature. Zheng Tianyan slowly bit his teeth. Even Kong, when Abbot lost his head, the Buddha nature young master Lin mentioned seems to have no manifestation in him. Lin Zaiasu sighed. I had already told him to give up struggling, to discard harmful means, and happily step into a mortal state for a guaranteed life. But he couldn't let go of his evil ways for years, so I had to send him off with the sword in my hand. Fulfilling him like this should also be a manifestation of Buddha nature. Does Master Zheng think so? His gaze locked onto Zheng Tianyan. The dignified giant of the enlightenment realm, the palace master of Tianyan Palace, his pupils contracted, dared not to argue further. Because he saw Lin Zaiasu's contempt. Even in the face of such giants of the enlightenment realm, his words were full of contempt. What does this indicate? It indicates that he could use his trump card at any time. Whoever dares go against him will be the next Kai Lion or Kong Wen. Lin Zaiasu's words oppressed Zheng Tianyan. The other palace masters, all shrewd individuals, pondered and thought that since the three Buddha temple was already history, it wasn't worth being the focal point, so they maintained silence temporarily. Lin Zaiasu said, today could be considered a gathering of the giants of Kun Kang, so let's have an exchange in person. This time entering Kun Kang, I am here seeking support. On the third day of March, the external folded space may open. The world is about to undergo great changes, and 1 billion beings in Daxia are at risk of hanging upside down. At this critical juncture, entrusted by Qianlong, I am entering Kun Kang to invite you giants to step out and assist. The whole scene was silent. Seeking support. Have you ever seen anyone ask for help like this? Lu Sanqian stepped across the sky and appeared beside him. Young Master Lin, I don't care what Qianlong says, I only care what you say. You say let me step out, I will step out. You say how many people to bring, I'll bring that many. Li Chushui gently smiled. Lord Lu's words are also my words. Hua Maoi said. The The day I entered Kunkang, it was because the world was unrighteous and the people had no hope. Feeling disheartened, I entered Kunkang. Now in this world, 10 billion citizens of Daxia are reluctant to abandon the prosperous era they created with their own hands, and those in power aim to solve the difficulties for the people. This world is the world I yearn for, based on human nature, past pursuits, and heavenly Tao. I declare that under Shenghua Valley, 3,000 disciples can all step out, for the human path, for the heavenly Tao. Slay all strange realm invaders. Well said, fight for the human path, fight for the heavenly Tao, Li Chushui said. The three sect masters expressed their support one after another. However, all of the other dozens of sect masters remained indifferent. A few sect masters seemed to have been touched, yet after exchanging glances with others around, they couldn't reach a consensus, and hence, nothing more came of it. Huamayoi observed coldly, her heart slightly anxious. She knew these three sects would cooperate with Lin Zaiasu. However, with just these three sects, success isn't guaranteed, it may even spoil things. Why? Because facing the opening of the external folded space, sending a few ordinary disciples is of no use. Top elders with sect masters must all go out, leaving the rear defenseless. Will these sects take advantage of the opportunity to annex their foundations? In front, there's Mengu, in the rear, there's danger lurking. How can they ensure their security? Lin Zaiasu deeply bowed to the three sect masters. Thanks to the three sect masters for your kindness. Here are 9 sets of the heavenly yin-yang chaos array. You 3 sects each take 3 sets. The usage method is included. He raised his hand, and 3 packages were thrown to the 3 sect masters. Lu Sanqian's heart suddenly skipped a beat. He is most sensitive to arrays, because he relied on arrays to destroy Xiao Palace and Kangmeng Palace. And today's sight of the heavenly yin-yang chaos array is 10 times stronger than those arrays of the past. With such an array, just 1 set can easily end a super sect, possessing 3 sets, who in Kun Kang dares provoke. Lithe as she is, Li Chushui, a woman, is always prone to getting excited. Obtaining these 3 sets of arrays and seeing the usage recorded on the manual, even her veteran yet still tender face suddenly turned red. This array, already completely formed, just needs 36 individuals of the observing Earthrealm to activate it. Chunshui Palace previously encountered betrayal from an elder, the sect's strength visibly withering. After being dragged into the spotlight by Lin Zaiasu, she constantly felt a chill down her spine. Now 3 sets of arrays in hand. She felt exhilarated. A voice from the sect leader of 3 Immortals Cave, Dong Fei, drilled into Zheng Tianyan's ear. Sect Master Zheng, do you not see the malice of this boy? Zheng Tianyan was nearly grinding his teeth into his back molars. How could he not see it? Lin Zaiasu planted an extremely dangerous element in Kun Kang. Kun Kang in itself is a place where sects coexist with endless contradictions. Although disputes have existed in the past, they were manageable because everyone understood clearly that a fight between 2 sects would only deplete both their strengths, ultimately allowing a third party to benefit. Therefore, no one would take a path to total destruction. But now, this boy has made a bizarre move. He has thrown a super bomb that dominates the battlefield into this calm undercurrent, the heavenly yin-yang chaos array. When the great powers first sensed the deadly threats of this array, they were already secretly horrified. Upon seeing the scene, they were even more alarmed. Just 1 set of arrays, coupled with 36 disciples of the observing Earthrealm, could easily annihilate 3 Buddha Temple, leaving none of the 3 giants unscathed. The once revered 3 Buddha Temple was knocked off its pedestal and plunged into an unfathomable abyss. This is not the end of the matter. This is just the beginning. Lin Zaiasu casually gifted Shenghua Valley, Chunshui Palace, and Li Palace with 9 sets of such arrays. These were already engraved and ready to use. As a result, what has Kun Kang become? It has completely lost its former balance, making everyone feel endangered. Zheng Tianyan looked at the back of Huamayoi, cold sweat trickling down his spine. How many disciples of Shenghua Valley died when Tianyan Palace blockaded it? How many were humiliated? Will she not seek revenge? If before Zheng Tianyan was fearless today, can he still afford to be fearless? Shenghua Valley holds 3 arrays, and if these arrays could easily destroy 3 Buddha Temple, would it be difficult to destroy Tianyan Palace? If he thinks this way, who else among the sect leaders would be a fool? In an instant, communication was flying around like crazy. in the ears of the sect leaders, filled with the accusations from another sect leader, or several leaders, cursing Lin Zaiasu, claiming that his future son wouldn't grow a buttocks, for dropping these 9-time bombs without reason in Kun Kang, endangering everyone. Young Master Lin, a voice rang out, I believe that on the path of cultivation we should prioritize sentient beings. Since the outside world is in peril, we cultivators must step forward. Hence, my king's sect is willing to battle out of the realm. Sect leader Li Lian of King's sect. Lin Zaiasu smiled. What sect leader Li said is very true, I Li Yuo sect is willing to fight for the sentient beings. My Fengyi sect is willing to fight for the sentient beings. My Luo Yue sect is willing to fight for the sentient beings. In an instant, 7 sects stood forward. The remaining sects couldn't sit still any longer. The more sects in Kun Kang that aligned with Lin Zaiasu, the more likely they were to obtain the heavenly yin-yang chaos array. The danger level also became much higher. Take the Yaoyan sect, for instance. It had no prior dealings with Lin Zaiasu, and theoretically, whatever waves Lin Zaiasu made wouldn't reach them. However, they had a blood feud with King's sect. If King's sect stood up to support Lin Zaiasu and acquired the heavenly yin-yang chaos array, they would definitely be the first to use it on them. The sect leader's expression changed like the weather, internally cursing Lin Zaiasu again, analyzing whether the future son of the Lin family would grow a buttocks in depth. But in the meantime, they also had to make arrangements for the continuation of their own sect. Fine, for now. Let's mix in a set of arrays first and talk later. He stepped forward. At this moment, Zhang Tianyan stepped forward just ahead of him. Zhang Tianyan raised his gaze. Lin Zaiasu, what is your intention in dividing Kun Kang, making everyone in the 83 sects of Kun Kang feel endangered? These words directly struck the hearts of all the sects. Exactly. A mere child from the outside world, causing chaos in Kun Kang, hiding murder intent. Does he truly think all the sect leaders are fools to follow his orders? Said Dongfei, sect leader of 3 Immortals Cave. With these two stepping out and clearly expressing their stance, the sects that intended to express allegiance to Lin Zaiasu immediately paused. As sect leaders, they were adept at assessing the situation. In front of Lin Zaiasu's side were barely 10 sects, but Kun Kang had 80 sects. The greater force was not on his side. Lin Zaiasu said, Master Zhang, you are wrong on 2 counts. Oh, Zhang Tianyan glared at him coldly. First mistake, this is not called division, this is just a choice. Choosing to fight for the human path to fight for all sentient beings is not shameful. Quite the contrary, remaining indifferent in the face of worldwide crisis, not understanding the basic principle even a 3-year-old outside the realm knows. When the nest is overturned, no egg remains intact, is truly ignorant. Zhang Tianyan's face turned pale with anger, as a dignified palace master being called ignorant. Yet he had no way to refute, because every word Lin Zaiasu said was filled with righteousness. Chapter 577, Chapter 576, Planting the Greatest Crisis in Kun Kang. The second mistake, you said Kun Kang has 83 sects, that's wrong, Lin Zaiasu said. The Kun Kang of that day had 83 sects, but now Xiaoyao Palace, Kangming Palace, and 3 Buddha Temple have been removed from the list. Why bring up the old history? There are only 80 left. This sentence seemed merely to correct a mathematical concept. But when it fell into the ears of the sect masters, it was like a thunderbolt being forcefully injected. They gazed at Lin Zaiasu's pale face, catching the unpredictable gleam in his eyes, and all understood his meaning. The former 83 sects, in just a short year, 3 sects were removed, and they were all powerful major sects. Among them was even the long-term leader of Kun Kang, 3 Buddha Temple. The implication was clear: don't force me to do more subtraction in Kun Kang. In the past, if Lin Zaiasu dared to provoke each sect master on this issue face to face, it was clearly seeking death. But now, his wings have grown strong. He has 10 sect masters by his side, including the 7 that just joined aimlessly. He has 3 battles that will be recorded in history as sect-destroying array battles. He also has a battle where the process is unknown, but the result is him personally killing an Enlightenment Realm giant. Everything points in one direction. Lin Zaiasu is extremely dangerous. Even Enlightenment Realm giants must be doubly careful when facing him. Lin Zaiasu slowly extends a finger. But what you said earlier, there is one statement that is correct. Making everyone feel insecure isn't great. How do I put it? Using the bald heads from 3 Buddha temples words, I am innately Buddha-hearted, truly unwilling for people of Kun Kang to feel insecure, so I have created something else. With a flick of his hand, he produced 10 crystal pillars as if doing magic. With a wave of his hand, 10 crystal pillars flew towards the 10 sect masters. Precisely the 10 sect masters on his side. The 10 sect masters were slightly surprised. What is this? Hua Maioi held the crystal pillar, carefully sensing the mysterious aura inside, which seemed to have some connection to the previous yin-yang chaos array. This is called the antiversal pillar. If you encounter the heavenly chaos array, activating this crystal pillar can ensure safety in a 100-foot radius. Lin Zaiasu said. This inspiration was given by Master Zheng. Those of us on the same front should not kill each other, so no need for everyone to feel insecure. The 10 people's hearts were overjoyed, especially the 7 that had just joined the camp. Sure enough, joining comes with rewards. With this crystal pillar, their sect temporarily escaped the shadow of being annihilated by this terrifying array. However, for the other 70 sects, their hearts' shadow instantly magnified 100-fold. Shenghua Valley, Chunshui Palace, Li Palace own 3 great arrays. They are spears ready to stab the remaining sects anytime. King Sect, Li Yuo Sect, Fengyi Sect, and others, shameless opportunists have obtained the shield. What about the others? What do they have? Face the heavenly yin-yang chaos array, and use the heads on their necks as defense. Even thinking with their toes, they feel their sect's future is worrying. They felt an unprecedented danger of sect annihilation. In Jianghu, there is dynamic balance. The extermination of a sect has never been so simple. But this great array has overturned the rules of sect extermination battles. 36 lowly disciples can make an enlightenment realm giant feel the threat of death. How to defend? There's absolutely no way to defend. You can defend for a moment, but not for a lifetime. In this moment of chaos in their hearts and torrents in their brains, Lin Zaiasu turned to Hua Maioi. Lord Hua, I have prepared 50 sets of heavenly yin-yang chaos arrays to place in your hands. For the 7 sects that have just joined, give 2 sets to each. Subsequently, with a 2-hour limit, anyone signing up shall receive 1 set, and after that we stop. What do you think, Lord? He raised a hand and handed a large bag to Hua Maioi. Hua Maioi looked deeply at him. Good. The last opportunity is yours, cherish it well. Yaoyan sect master shouted. Young Master Lin, Shenghua Chunshui, Li Palace each have 3 sets of arrays and an anti-array crystal pillar. The 7 sects that joined each got 2 sets of arrays and an anti-array crystal pillar. Those who join newly only get 1 set. No anti-array crystal pillar. Yes, Lin Zaiasu said. This is the method of reward from outside. The more cooperating, the richer the gain. How outrageous, Dong Fei shouted angrily. Boy, you casually set rules. Who do you think you are? Lin Zaiasu's face darkened. Who I am is not important. What's important is, what the hell do you think you are? Next, I frankly warn you, Dong Fei, other sects wishing to join my team still have the chance, but you, because of that remark, have lost this qualification. Presumptuous, Dong Fei suddenly enlarged his Dharma body. However, with a swoosh, 3 Dharma bodies simultaneously expanded. Lu Sanqian, Li Chushui, surprisingly with the addition of Li Lian from King's sect. Lu Sanqian and Li Chushui were expected. They have always stood on Lin Zaiasu's side, but Li Lian made Dong Fei incredibly angry. Li Lian, you damn it, are you his dog? Others raise dogs at least for a few days to get familiar, and you got familiar in less than 2 hours. Whoosh! Li Lian's purple face changed color, slapped him, and the two fought onto the vast skies. All others looked at each other. Every heart frantically calculated with elementary-level arithmetic below 100. 50 sets of arrays. 7 sects have already distributed 14 sets, 36 remain. Each sect can only have 1 set, which means 36 sects. The remaining sects still have 70 sects. This barely exceeds half. What does this mean? It means you must scramble for this quota. This kid bastard. Too much of a bastard. Initially, it was him seeking the sects to send troops, which might not even succeed in requesting. Now, his layered compressing distribution method. His stingy total quota. Let these sect masters who would remain unfazed even if Mount Tai collapsed in front of them, feel heart chaos and intensely strong crisis. If I become the sect that failed to grab the quota. If rivals use this against me. then death it is. However, turning these giants into vegetable market-fighting elderly ladies is seemingly not easy, even if their hearts are storming inside. Truly stepping forward is difficult to take this step. Lin Zaiasu gently smiled. Lord Hua, the upcoming registration, I'll leave it to you. No problem. This matter is not forced, rather lacking than compromised. Even with just us 10 sects, it's actually quite adequate. Indeed. Send me down. Hua Maioi smiled gently, her clothes fluttering as she lifted Lin Zaiasu, like a celestial maiden scattering flowers, and led him down from the sky. Just in front of Dawa. Brother, your path is open. Dawa smiled, her smile exceptionally clear. Her words were full of meaning. His path was open. Yes, entering Kun Kang, walking the tightrope step by step. Navigating among the major powers, seeking support that seemed almost impossible to obtain. Whether it was Ding Ryushui or Feng Jai, Hua Maioi or Dawa, they had never really seen hope during this time. Yet today, the complete annihilation of the three Buddha temple faced almost all giants of the Enlightenment realm in Kun Kang. The terrifying consequence formed by this miraculous great array struck directly at the heart. Using a set of reward laws, planting a dreadful chain reaction in Kun Kang, forcing the sect leaders to take sides. In doing so, the minds of the sect leaders were tumultuous, and his path was vast, high and wide. It wasn't him seeking them. It was these giants who could make the earth shake with a wave of their hands, seeking to join his team. This was the application of tactics. This was even more so the wisdom of seeing through the situation. Lin Zaiasu smiled. Dawa, shall we leave? Leave Kun Kang? Dawa asked. Yes, leave Kun Kang. Aren't you going to wait for the final result? There's no need to wait, Lin Zaiasu said. The choice has already been given to them. From now on, whether it's life or death, whether the sects rise to glory or fall into decline, they are all their own choices. We need not have sympathy for those who don't know the times but should learn to respect others' fates. This sentence had a casual tone. However, amongst the Enlightenment realm giants in the sky, who didn't hear clearly, this sentence turned into overwhelming waves, seemingly about to collapse the already shaky dike. Suddenly, a stream of light streaked across the sky. Everyone lifted their eyes, staring in amazement as a new true Yuan giant shadow stepped through the air. Hua Maioi's pupils constricted suddenly. Li Chushui stepped to her side, a wisp of sound piercing her ear, the mysterious heavenly master of Luonian heaven. Hua Maioi said, this person is not simple, perhaps, has already taken that step. Li Chushui's heart skipped a beat suddenly. That step. In the mouths of the giants of the Enlightenment realm, that step had a specific reference, Enlightenment God realm. Could it be? Kun Kang had never seen the Enlightenment God realm. So that step was so out of reach for them. Would it really appear today? And what would it mean for this complex situation? Her sensitivity to the aura wasn't as sharp as Hua Maioi's, but she could also see that the aura around this person was extremely strange. Stepping through the void, as if the heavenly emperor was patrolling, such a footwork she herself couldn't achieve. Could it really be that step? Not only did Hua Maioi see it, but Yin Jihu also saw it. At this moment, his eyes completely changed. There were still two people fighting in the sky. Dongfei and Li Lian. The giants of the Enlightenment realm battled above the heavens, the clouds rolling like an immortal elder fighting in the 9 heavens. However, the heavenly master took a step forward, stepping just between the two of them. The airflow shifted, like a long river splitting. The two squeezed onto the dike, isolated by the river in shock. The rest of the people felt their hearts truly leap. Beneath the heavenly master's feet, black waves churned. With him as the backdrop, his figure seemed to be against a boundless hell. The boundless hell slowly pressed down. The bright day seemed to turn into deep night within a step, incomparably eerie and cold. Clang! Feng Jai drew the sword from her palm. Her sword Dao, the blooming of the red spider lily. The blooming of the red spider lily divided heaven and earth, but her world seemed compressed to just a tiny space. In the space, 3 people. Her Lin Zaiasu and Dawa. Master Dawa bowed slightly. The person who came was indeed her master, Luonian heavenly master. Disciple has left the mountain, why not inform your master? The heavenly master's voice was deep, carrying a certain magical rhythm. Dawa said, if disciple informed the master, would the master permit disciple to leave the mountain? The heavenly master said, "Whether or not is meaningless. Since you have already left the mountain, it can be considered fulfilling your wish now. Return to the mountain with your master." "Master, disciple wishes to take a trip out of Kunkang." "No," the master's face darkened. "Disciple has parents and clan members outside. Disciple wishes to see them once. This is only human nature. This is also the basic duty of being human. Does the master wish to deprive the disciple of heavenly Tao and human relations?" Dawa said. "Your cultivation situation is special. You mustn't have disturbances. At most 3 months after your cultivation is on track, your master will never keep you from going down the mountain." The heavenly master said, "Now, return to the mountain with your master." He raised his hand, pressing towards Dawa's shoulder. Suddenly, with a light sound, a sword's edge lay across in front of Dawa, pointing directly at the heavenly master's nose. Chapter 578, Chapter 577, The Luonian Heavenly Master Takes Command. Long sword, 5-element sword. The one wielding the sword, Lin Zaiasu. Lin Zaiasu's long sword pointed straight at the heavenly master's nose. A green flower on the sword appeared dreamy and ethereal. This was the first bloom of his sword intent green flower. If it were any other day, it would have garnered cheers from the crowd. But today, the sword tip pointed at a giant of the Enlightenment realm. Moreover, this Enlightenment realm giant had just stepped into the battlefield of two giants with a single step, halting the clash of the two great Enlightenment realms with just 1 foot, and making 70 to 80 Enlightenment realm giants all feel the suppression of their realms, resembling a super giant who has seemingly taken that step. The heavenly master stared blankly at him. "Young Master Lin, I wish to take my disciple back to the mountain. Will you also obstruct me?" "She is my friend," Lin Zaiasu said. "Since she is your friend, you should consider her cultivation and allow her to follow me back to the mountain and complete her cultivation road." The heavenly master's tone was calm. All the surrounding Enlightenment realm giants also agreed at heart. This is the cultivation path. Anyone who steps on the cultivation path prioritizes cultivation over everything. Even familial ties must be set aside at critical moments of cultivation. Luonian Heavenly Master taking his disciple back to the mountain has no issues in terms of emotions, reason, or the laws of cultivation. If it were genuinely for her cultivation road, I would naturally allow it, Lin Zaiasu said. However, the Heavenly Master is a person of primordial spirit possession, desperately needing her to serve as your cultivation furnace, using her chi to accomplish your cultivation path, which I cannot allow. Upon these words, the audience was shocked. With a swoosh, 3 human figures appeared simultaneously, all with a 1,000-foot Dharma body, matching the Luonian Heavenly Master at this moment. 4,000-foot Dharma bodies appeared simultaneously in the void, almost covering all the space. Huamayoi li Chushu Lu Sankyan. Primordial spirit possession, using people as a furnace, Huamayoi said, the demon sect's 3-furnace technique. Her graceful voice echoed across heaven and earth. The listeners were all discolored. The demon sect's 3-furnace technique is an extremely vicious technique in the world. What is a furnace? A furnace is a crucible. What are the 3 furnaces? Similar to the 3 flowers of the Taoists. They are essence, energy, and spirit. Simply, the demon sect's 3 furnaces differ from the Taoist 3 flowers in the way they are harvested. The Taoist 3 flowers are cultivated by oneself. The demon sect's 3 furnaces use others as the crucible to seize others' fortune. Several years ago in Kunkang, the demon sect caused havoc, and the 3-furnace technique wreaked havoc on Kunkang for many years. Later, 83 sects joined forces to eliminate them, and any remaining demon sect members appearing in Jianghu were to be killed without mercy. If the Luonian Heavenly Master practiced the demon sect's 3-furnace technique, then he is a public enemy of Kunkang. The Luonian Heavenly Master's eyes suddenly changed, falling on Lin Zaiasu's face like a spirit from Jiu. "Boy, speaking recklessly, do you know what kind of price you will pay?" "Speaking recklessly, haha," Lin Zaiasu said coldly. "You probably don't know my real profession, do you? Detective. Do you understand what a detective is? Someone who has eyes to see through others' secrets." The audience was silent. Everyone's eyes were on the face of the Luonian Heavenly Master. The eyes of the Luonian Heavenly Master gradually lifted, skipping over Kunkang land, skipping over the chaotic clouds in the sky, finally slowly lowering, refocusing on Lin Zaiasu's face. "Boy, I hadn't intended to expose myself so soon, but you forced me." Everyone's heart sank simultaneously. He did not deny it. With a whoosh, a sword flew in. From Lu Sanqian. Lu Sanqian's Li Ren swordsmanship had reached the pinnacle. At this moment, taking the 1,000-foot Dharma body as the base, the sword slashed, and the sword light extended 10 miles away. The Luonian heavenly master smirked coldly. Behind his head, a blood-colored light suddenly appeared. With a surge, it reached straight into the sky. With a faint hum, it covered 100 miles. Within 100 miles, all was blood-light. This sword, which was about to reach his face, suddenly became infinitely distant. Lu Sanqian's 1,000-foot Dharma body collapsed directly, returning to a normal size, falling in the void. At his side, Li Chushui and Hua Maioi's faces changed greatly, and their Dharma bodies also suddenly collapsed. In fact, it was not just them. The full assembly of Enlightenment Realm giants, their Dharma bodies collapsed simultaneously. They lost the ability of Enlightenment transformation, falling from the sky. Everyone was shocked. Chaotic Heaven Divine Domain, who are you? A gust of wind, Feng Jai quickly grabbed Lin Ziasu's arm. Chaotic Heaven Divine Domain, a demon sect's divine power, can disrupt a region's heavenly Tao. He turned the area ahead into an unfriendly realm for enlightenment. The demon sect defies the heavens. It can disrupt the heavenly Tao. How to disrupt it? That is by changing the current environment. In Kun Kang, the enlightenment realm is a giant, with invincible power covering heaven and earth because Kun Kang has this environment. If they are placed outside, enlightenment realm giants cannot exert the might of true essence transformation, losing their greatest trump card. Therefore, they dare not easily go outside the boundaries. They have always been reassured in Kun Kang. However, today, the Luonian Heavenly Master taught them a lesson. Even within Kun Kang, encountering a demon sect giant with a primordial spirit, they can still knock you down from the enlightenment realm. He doesn't need to clear out each enlightenment one by one. He only needs to create a domain, disrupt the heavenly Tao rules in the domain, making all enlightenment giants entering this domain fall from the enlightenment realm. Thus, he becomes the only enlightenment in the domain. The worldly difference between those observing heaven and enlightenment, this moment is the same difference between these enlightenment giants and him. Realizing this, all the enlightenment giants' hearts were cold. The demon sect is not unfamiliar to them. Throughout their lives, who among them hasn't killed a few remnants of the demon sect, but today they know that demons and demons are not the same. Higher-level demons can completely slaughter them. The 1,000-foot Dharma body of the Luonian Heavenly Master spanned the sky, overlooking Kun Kang. You all through the years have not spared killing my demon sect disciples. I have been dormant underground, unable to awaken in time. When I awoke, the demon sect no longer existed, and I've long wished to avenge this deep-seated blood hatred. Now that I reveal my identity today, why not take Kun Kang as well? You are the Chaos Heaven Ancestor, Yin Jiu shouted. At this moment, as he fell from the sky, he was in even more disarray than usual, looking more disheveled. Ha ha ha, you still remember my name from 3,000 years ago, Chaos Heaven Ancestor said. Since you know I can cause chaos in heaven, you ought to know allegiance to me is the only way out. Will you submit or not? Yin Jiu's face turned deathly pale. This appearance immediately brought about the most difficult choice. Submit, how could that be? Not submitting might instantly bring about disaster. In the past, he roamed the world, fearing nothing because he knew no one in Kun Kang could do anything to him. But today, he couldn't unleash his enlightenment realm power and was directly knocked down from the enlightenment realm, while the other was the only enlightenment realm in this world and could easily annihilate him with just a finger. The junior agrees to submit. The 4 words came, surprisingly from the sect master of the 3 immortals' cave, Dongfei. Dongfei had just been deeply provoked. He was directly declared by Lin Ziasu that others had the chance to join his team, but Dongfei did not qualify. Fine then. I'll make the right choice now, join the demon sect and immediately destroy you. Good, who else? Chaos Heaven Ancestor's voice was somber. In my opinion, Zhang Tianyan stepped forward. On the cultivation path, there should be no sectarian views. The strong have always been revered. I am willing to relieve the worries of the seniors. Utterly shameless, a chilling voice rang out. It was Hua Maioi. As this voice emerged, all eyes gathered. Hua Maioi stepped forward. Being a true cultivator, being a sect master, submitting yourself to the demon sect like a dog, you are not fit to be human. Exactly. Li Chushui also stepped forward. Even though I am a woman, I am not ashamed to associate with the likes of you too. Lu Sanqian said nothing, but simply stepped forward, the sword in his hand, pointing directly at Luonian Heavenly Master. His eyes were cold as ice. Their standing up momentarily halted Luonian Heavenly Master's recruitment of the giants of the Enlightenment realm, because most of these giants still had some dignity. Luonian ancestors' eyes, seeming as if from the deepest hell, firmly locked onto Hua Maioi. Very well, let me first eliminate a few stubborn individuals, then talk to everyone else. Boom! A palm that supports the sky. This palm is well known among those in the Enlightenment realm present. In their prime, they all could perform it. In terms of power, it is no less than Chaos Heaven ancestors, perhaps even surpassing it. However, at this moment, they couldn't wield their Enlightenment realm might. Facing this palm, they were as ants confronting a boulder. Hua Maioi waved her hand, and around her, there was a flourishing scene. Each flower was filled with the mystical mechanism of the great Tao. Li Chushui raised her hand. A piece of the azure wave appeared in the void. Within the azure waves, with a sharp sound, lotus flowers spread. All the flowers were scattered with one withering, and one large flower soared to meet the heavenly supporting palm. Lu Sanqian's Li Ren tears. The three great Enlightenment realms joined forces. Although none retained even half of their past might, the combined strike, carrying the full force of their true yuan in a desperate stance, was still infinitely potent. Yet the giant palm pressed down. Lu Sanqian's Li Ren tears, lotus was shattered. Li Chushui's azure water splintered. Hua Maioi's garden of flowers suddenly entered winter. At this moment, a red spider lily rose. This red spider lily, rising as if from ruins, carrying a wondrous intent of eternal separation of yin and yang, suddenly banished Luonian Heavenly Master to the ends of the earth. Feng Jai. Feng Jai took action. In the premise where none of the others could exert their Enlightenment realm power, her strike seemed more lethal than that of the three Enlightenment realms, simply because she herself was not of the Enlightenment realm, and the Luonian Heavenly Master's reversal of Heavenly Tao did not affect her much. Luonian Heavenly Master was moved. What a move! Reincarnation soared way. With a wave of his hand, bloodlight formed a bridge, forcibly injecting life and death into reincarnation. Boom! The red spider lily was also pulverized, and the giant palm that seemed divided at the ends of the earth suddenly arrived over their heads. It proved that under the current circumstances, no one could withstand Chaos Heaven Ancestor. Hua Maioi, Li Chushui, and Lu Sanqian simultaneously let out a low cry and soared into the sky. Boom! The three of them pushed back down simultaneously. There were signs indicating this final strike from Luonian Heavenly Master would completely crush Kang's first wave of counterattack against Chaos Heaven Ancestor. As long as this wave of counterattack was quelled, Chaos Heaven Ancestor would truly become the master of Kang. Suddenly, a shadow appeared underneath the giant palm. Stop! Boom! The giant palm halted in the void. The stirred violent wind swept across all directions. Within the violent winds was a girl. Originally shy-faced, resembling a village girl, but now with a complexion as dark as water. Dawa. Dawa, Chaos Heaven Ancestor frowned slightly. You truly wish to go against your master. I order you to let go, Dawa said solemnly. Presumptuous, how dare you give orders to your master? Chaos Heaven Ancestor's face became extremely gloomy. Indeed, Dawa replied. From now on, if you dare to disobey a single word I say, I'll immediately self-destruct my Danshin. Upon hearing this, Chaos Heaven Ancestor's whole body shook. You. Dawa coldly stated, listen closely. Allow them to leave Kang smoothly, with no obstruction whatsoever. I will then return to the mountain with you. Otherwise, I will destroy my Danshin on the spot, and whatever plans you have will be nothing but illusory. The entire scene fell silent. At this moment, Chaos Heaven Ancestor was the only true God present. Life and death decisions lay within a single thought. Could he truly be coerced by this young girl? Chaos Heaven Ancestor looked at her for a long time, seemingly pondering her resolve. Dawa stared coldly at him, her gaze as firm as a rock. Chapter 579, Chapter 578, The Butterfly Descends Upon Kang. The face of Chaos Heaven Ancestor slowly revealed a smile. I only wish to become the Lord of Kun Kang and do not desire to kill needlessly. Since you have a request, I shall agree. As his voice fell, the giant hand covering the sky slowly retracted. Dawa slowly turned her head. The icy resolve in her eyes began to melt like frost under the spring sun. Dawa, Lin Zaiyasu came to her side. Brother, her voice was as gentle as water, just like by the Talai River that day. Why does it have to be this way? Lin Zaiasu's voice was as light as a sigh. I just want you to remember the beautiful grasslands under that untainted moon. The moon roams across the sky, inevitably obscured at times by clouds, but its light remains pure and unsullied. Really? Dawa's eyes were filled with infinite tenderness. Truly? Go once to my homeland for me and tell my father and mother something, Dawa whispered. No, Lin Zaiyasu gently raised his finger and pressed it against her lips. This was a closeness they had never shared before. A closeness unsuitable for exposure in public. But today, even the enigmatic Feng Jai, who had always been ambiguous towards Lin Zaiyasu, found nothing wrong with this gesture, only feeling an air of beauty mixed with melancholy. Because today, Dawa was sacrificing to protect. Because tomorrow, they would have no tomorrow. Brother, I don't want to relay any message for you to your parents. I'd rather you tell them yourself. Lin Zaiyasu said, Dawa, you don't have to go back with him. The entire crowd was suddenly taken aback. She doesn't need to go back with him. This man who has wrought miracles time and again still has a trump card in such a decisive moment. Is it possible? The Chaos Heaven Ancestor before them, even placed in Kun Kang, is a legendary figure. A figure said to have died thousands of years ago. Now appearing and wielding a terrifying primordial spirit domain, even suppressing the giants of the Enlightenment realm. What kind of trump card could possibly overturn this immense mountain? No, not just a mountain, but the entire sky of Kun Kang. The eyes of Chaos Heaven Ancestor abruptly shot towards Lin Zaiyasu. Lin Zaiasu's gaze just happened to rise at that moment, staring at him. Chaos Heaven Ancestor, right? You probably think you're all-powerful, but in my view, you're nothing but a jumping clown. Dawa was utterly shocked. She didn't know what he was trying to do. Was he enacting a ploy to save her? Oh brother, don't do this. I don't want the only moment of purity in my life to be tarnished. In her heart, Feng Jai was wildly jolted. Master, he might still have a trump card. Hua Maioi heard her disciple's voice, and her heart also accelerated suddenly. In the sky, Chaos Heaven Ancestor said coldly, Boy, do you comprehend what you are saying? Very clearly, Lin Zaiyasu replied calmly. You've been boasting for half an hour, it's time for you to be extinguished. Extinguished, haha. Chaos Heaven Ancestor burst into wild laughter, his laughter echoing through half of Kun Kang. With the reverberation of his laughter, crimson magical engravings in the sky twisted like snakes. Lin Zaiyasu exhaled softly. That day at Luonian Heaven, it wasn't because of kindness that you dared not act, but because you feared Two Realms Mountain. Isn't that so? The laughter of Chaos Heaven Ancestor abruptly paused. Feng Jai's heart pounded wildly. Luonian Mountain, where this mysterious heavenly master had reasons to act, but he did not, leading her to a misjudgment. Thinking he would stand by their side. Now Lin Zaiyasu directly pointed out that this heavenly master did not act that day, not because he didn't want to, but because he feared the Two Realms Mountain. He dared not reveal himself beneath Two Realms Mountain. Lin Zaiyasu said, You fear Two Realms Mountain, but do you know, the person you fear has also left Two Realms Mountain today. The face of Chaos Heaven Ancestor suddenly changed. Boy, you. Senior brother, Lin Zaiyasu uttered two words. Two words. Plain and light. Gentle as usual. In silence, a butterfly appeared on his fingertip. Butterfly. Junior brother, tell me, how should we kill him? 9 words spoken with utmost calm. Yet the voice spread throughout the whole of Kun Kang. Yes, the whole. Clean and thorough, obliterate form and spirit. Hua Maioi was utterly shocked. Indeed, there was a trump card. It was a butterfly. If it had been a person, she might not have been so overjoyed, but it was a butterfly, and her delight was boundless because she knew what a butterfly signified. It signified primordial spirit possession. In the sky, Chaos Heaven Ancestor's voice sharply retorted, Primordial spirit possession. Who exactly are you? Within the butterfly, Gu Jian Yachin snorted coldly, "Dao friend, you're unworthy." Whoosh! The butterfly's wings fluttered, and the magical engravings in the sky suddenly transformed, turning into thousands of sword lights. "Sword world, it's impossible," Chaos Heaven Ancestor exclaimed in shock. The butterfly merely gave a gentle flap of its wings, and the top-tier demon path domain manifested by Chaos Heaven Ancestor with his primordial spirit was directly usurped into a sword domain. What kind of method is this? Most people would not know. How could Chaos Heaven Ancestor not know? This is a top-tier sword Dao technique. Top tier. Swoosh. The magical engravings turned into swords and pierced through the void. Swoosh. Chaos Heaven Ancestor's 1,000 feet Dharma body shattered into pieces. His true form shattered into pieces. His primordial spirit appeared for the first time before the crowd. It's a blood-clothed elder figure. At the moment the blood-clothed elder's body shattered, he still wanted to escape, but the butterfly gently opened its mouth. The primordial spirit of Chaos Heaven Ancestor flew into the butterfly's belly like a moth to flame. The whole scene was as silent as the night. They finally saw the Enlightenment God realm with their own eyes. For those in the Enlightenment body realm, it truly was like a god. However, such a god had glory that lasted only half an hour. It was wiped out both body and soul by the gentle flap of a butterfly's wings. This butterfly, quivering at Lin Ziasu's fingertips, made everyone's hearts hang in suspense, especially Dong Fei and Zheng Tianyan. In the mind tactics led by Lin Ziasu, they held on till the end. In the mind tactics led by Chaos Heaven Ancestor, they were at the forefront. However, Chaos Heaven Ancestor was no more. The initiative returned to Lin Ziasu's hands. If there were a cure-all for regret in the world, they would have taken it without hesitation, but is there? The strategy of the junior apprentice, winning the mind, is the best, but I don't bother with so many twists and turns, Gu Jian Yaochen said. I'll just say two things. This upcoming March 3rd in the entire Kun Kang, I don't want to see any giants of the Enlightenment realm or observing heaven. If one remains, destroy one sect. The hearts of everyone present suddenly tightened. Gu Jian Yaochen said, the second thing, I will secretly observe everyone leaving the realm if they harbor even a trace of selfish thoughts, disrupting the major plan of human path, resisting external enemies, all the ridiculous foundations you opened, your own ridiculous lives, I will eliminate all of it. The moment the word eliminate was uttered, swoosh, a wild grass on the ground fluttered up. Zheng Tianyan and Dong Fei's heads were separated from their bodies. Two giants of Enlightenment realm suddenly died an unnatural death. This time, the butterfly didn't even flap its wings. Whoosh! 7 leaders bowed simultaneously. We abide by the teachings of the senior, willing to follow the senior's command. These 7 had already announced their joining of Lin Ziasu's camp earlier. The remaining 60 or so leaders also bowed at the same time. We abide by the teachings of the senior, willing to follow the senior's command. Hua Maioi, Li Chushui, and Lu Sanqian exchanged glances. Never before had the entire Kun Kang reached such a high level of consensus as today. The road to resisting external enemies was finally truly open. Junior, take care of yourself. Senior, thank you. The butterfly flapped its wings and flew gracefully, swirling in midair, disappearing into the void. Lin Ziasu's gaze turned to Hua Maioi. Hua Maioi's beautiful eyes happened to land on him as well. Lord Hua, Lord Li, Lord Lu, senior sister, Lin Ziasu said, I'm going out now. There are some things I need to arrange with you all. About half an hour later, Lin Ziasu came down from the hillside, coming before Dawa. Dawa, let's go. Dawa smiled happily, lifted his hand gently, and Lin Ziasu naturally held it. Silently and without a sound, they ascended the hill, and the next moment disappeared from everyone's sight. Crossing Chun River, entering Li City, Lin Ziasu arrived below the screen wall in front. His hand gently lifted, tracing a mysterious engraving on the screen wall. The solid screen wall parted, and he and Dawa stepped in. Then he saw 2 people playing a human tower on chairs. White-clothed Professor Xiang Yixiu, and that female graduate student from his family named Zioya. The 2 were sitting on a large chair. Xiang Yixiu's hand slipped into Zioya's clothes. Who knows what he was holding? Anyway, Zioya's face was red, her body trembling, looking rather comfortable. Suddenly, the 2 separated abruptly. Zioya jumped far away in surprise. Xiang Yixiu stared at Lin Ziaosu, who seemed to have appeared out of nowhere before him, his mouth slightly agape. You didn't even need me to open the door. He was responsible for guarding the gate of Kun Kang. For those inside to come out, they had to apply first, wait for his approval, and upon approval the array would be activated, the gateway opened. Today, this bastard Lin Ziaosu directly came out. Where is the approval process? Lin Ziaosu shrugged. I built this gate. You really think I need to say a word to you to enter and exit my own gate? Okay, I get what you mean. Interrupting your good moment must be embarrassing. Ahem. Even though Xiang Yixiu was skilled with words, it was hard for him to argue. This trivial thing doesn't matter, after all you're a man. When choosing you as the gatekeeper, I specifically told blood trace, big bed, wide chair, no surveillance. Lin Ziaosu defended him. All right, let's not mention the past, let's talk about serious matters. After a bunch of words, Zioya almost hid. Suddenly hearing this last sentence. Serious matters. Speak, Xiang Yixiu felt greatly relieved. From now on, keep the gates wide open, at least until March 3rd, completely open the gates. After laying out the plans, Xiang Yixiu's eyes brightened and he clapped Lin Ziaosu on the shoulder. Good kid, you've got it. Let's move to the Zen Hall and set strategies with them. According to Xiang Yixiu's thinking, it was to set strategies with the abbot. However, to his surprise, Lin Ziaosu took out his glasses and invited another person to join the meeting remotely. This person's participation made everyone's back sweat cold. Because this person is Chief Long. Chief Long seen only head not tail. Ordinary people who can exchange a word with him. However, Lin Ziaosu dialed directly. Chief Long's face appeared in the void vague. But his eyes were terrifyingly bright. Lin Ziaosu laid out the entire plan. Chief Long clapped in approval. The matter of March 3rd has been under study in meetings recently. Little Sue's plan is the best design. All framework will revolve around you. Details. Bai Shui will be responsible for filling in. Yes, a loud voice rang out. It was Bai Shui, the chief planner of Qianlong. Besides Chief Long, there were actually others in the meeting, at least one Bai Shui. Everything was completely arranged. Lin Ziaosu walked out of the Zen Hall. Xiang Yixiu walked alongside him, feeling deeply moved. I really didn't expect, as a professor, to be involved in such a monumental task that changes human destiny. Now you don't blame me for dragging you into this pit. Lin Ziaosu glanced sideways at him. How could I not blame you? In this deserted mountain wilderness, I think of blaming you every day. Every sneeze you make represents my deep resentment for you. Come on. You even turned this wilderness into a sweet haven. I heard you brought several graduate students to study the experiment of friction electrification of human organs, especially noted several of them. Rumors, pure rumors, how could I, a dignified university professor, be a cultured beast? I've lived in the temple for so long, I've gained a bit of Buddhist nature, striving to procure comprehensive welfare for all beings. Let me interrupt and correct, it's for the welfare of the female students. Chapter 580, Chapter 579, The Bright Moon in the Sky, the Young Maiden's Heart. Sending Lin Ziaosu to the temple gate, Xiang Yixiu stopped and motioned forward with his mouth. This one, seems like you commissioned me to investigate. Now that it's clear, can you rest easy and abduct it? What nonsense, she's the moon in the sky, that very pure kind. No matter how pure, you have to see if the entrusted is non-human. Once entrusted to you, it won't be pure after 2 or 3 moves. Then wait and see. I'm leaving. Lin Ziaosu waved his hand over his shoulder, took large steps and left Wuxiang Temple. From today onwards, Wuxiang Temple has changed once again. No longer the portal through which Qianlong regulated Kun Kang, but a path of warfare. Kun Kang's soldiers continuously emerged from here, contributing their strength to resist the great enterprise of the human path. At this moment the winds and clouds were still, the mountain breeze gently moved. Outside the temple, the leaves of the old Bodhi tree rustled. Dawa stood under the tree, slowly turned her head. Brother, I really have to go home. Do you want me to send you off? Lin Ziaosu said. Can I? Dawa's eyes were full of excitement. My affairs have been arranged properly, at least 10 days of freedom. Then let's rent 2 horses, and you send me home. The white horse galloped across the field. Bright songs resounded once more. Dawa's smile transformed from subtle to reserved, then to pure and unblemished cheerfulness. The sunlight moved from noon to afternoon, then to the setting sun. The wind blew across the prairie, wildflowers bloomed freely. The wind passed, bringing the descent of night, and sprinkled the water of the Talai River with starlight. The horses grew a bit weary, slowing down by the riverbank. The two dismounted from horseback, patting the horses' backs, letting them graze freely by the river. They sat under the old tree by the riverbank. Just like that day. The wind was as gentle as it had been that day. The water flowed east just like it did that day. The people were still the same people from that day. "Brother," Dawa's voice gently floated over. "Do you want to say something?" Lin Zaiasu asked. "I just wanted to call you." That night there were no more words. The two sat back to back, each gazing at the starry sky. Though there was no romantic sentiment of that gender, there was still the mysteriousness of the night, the tranquility of passing years. Dawa perhaps wanted to discuss something with him. However, the words were ultimately held back. She was unwilling to disrupt the subtle understanding before them. She didn't want to identify herself as the nine-headed snake's former Qing Yan. She hoped more that from beginning to end, her interactions with him would be as pure as the moon tonight. Lin Zaiasu did not pursue it either. Why Dawa initially deliberately approached him, what mindset was behind it, he did not know. In fact, today, at this moment, it was no longer important. In Kunkang, he entered the Luonian heaven. Dawa treated him with sincerity. In the decisive battle against the Three Buddha Temple, she served as a base for a ray path. Facing the extinction hand of the Luonian ancestor, she stepped forward, using herself as a bargaining chip to protect him fully. Just these alone, this moon, remained the bright moon in the sky. Just as Lin Zaiasu said, the moon may inevitably have clouds and mist covering it, but as long as the moon itself is pure, the moon will always be the moon. Early the next morning, the two exchanged smiles, mounted horses, and galloped across the prairie, straight into the depths of the grassland. In the distance, snow-capped mountains soared. At the edge of the prairie, the valley opened like a fan. White sheep surged from the valley, the shepherds, loud songs reverberated across the prairie. "Brother, that's my home." "You finally returned home," Lin Zaiasu smiled. "Want to come to my house for a sit?" This question seemed ordinary, but in fact held much intrigue. Going to her house to sit, her background would be entirely revealed, for her parents were not professionally trained and could not lie and conceal. Lin Zaiasu gently shook his head. "Let's skip this time. Next time, if I have the chance to come to the prairie again, I'll come to find you." "I should come to find you instead," Dawa lightly smiled. Lin Zaiasu was slightly shaken. "Before March 3rd, see you beneath Old Tashan." Dawa turned her horse's head. "Giddy up." The white horse flew like a meteor, galloping across the green prairie towards her homeland. Lin Zaiasu watched her for a moment, then turned his horse. "Giddy up." With a squeeze of his legs, the horse galloped towards the way they came. Galloping across the prairie, past the Talai River, into Huixian town, returning the horse to the rental merchants. Suddenly his heart was stirred. Slowly turning back. On the street behind him, a woman leaned against the wall watching him. Her eyes showed an expression of grievance. It was unexpectedly a bit pitiful. Heaven bears witness, seeing such light in Feng Jai's eyes was rare and hard to find. "Senior sister, you've come out. The master and others need to make some preparations. They let me come out first to pave the way for you," Feng Jai said. "I just took a few steps in the outside world, already feeling the world full of malice." "What's going on?" "I wanted to try the outside world's food, went into a restaurant but couldn't settle the bill with Kun coin, ended up being kicked out hungry. I suddenly remembered you gave me a string of numbers you called a phone number, said it could contact you. I asked someone how to make a call, that person was really rude. Said I was crazy. My heavens, the dignified senior sister couldn't afford a meal, couldn't make a phone call. This is really too disastrous," Lin Zaiasu said. "Come with me, I'll get you fully equipped." He took Feng Jai into a shop, first event, clothing change. The shop's salesperson kept staring at Feng Jai's very bold mask. Lin Zaiasu could only explain that this was for role-playing. To be honest, with this change of clothes, Feng Jai at least blended with the world from the neck down. As for above the head, Lin Zaiasu looked at the mask, hesitated slightly. "Senior sister, how about taking off this mask?" No," Feng Jai directly refused. "This world, although generally quite tolerant, you are still too ostentatious." Feng Jai tightened the mask. I'll listen to you for everything else but not this. I don't get it, senior sister. Why do you have to wear it? I'm ugly, afraid I'll scare the little kids. You ugly? Saying it as if I hadn't seen your real face before. With your outline, yeah, it might have been a bit scary back then. But now you've got some flesh on you. If your face isn't a bit chubby, it's not physiological. Just adding a bit of chubbiness to your face, it's impossible for you to be ugly. Besides, in this world, kids have seen everything except ghosts. What haven't they seen? What are they afraid of? Lin Asu pondered. Are you just going to wear a mask into my house? Aren't you afraid my parents will look at you like a monster? I didn't say I'm going into your house. I'm staying in the mountains. Does that make sense? A distinguished guest arrives, staying all alone in the mountains. Feng Jai said, I'm a woman, going into your house is the real nonsense, right? How are you going to explain to little Yi? The mention of little Yi sparked Lin Asu's inspiration, his eyes shifting as he slapped his thigh. I've got a great idea. What is it? Follow me, change the mask. Change? That's right, swap for a different mask without taking off yours. It hides your true face without drawing attention with a flashy mask. That'll work, right? Feng Jai nodded, then okay. The two walked into a printing shop. In this era, printing shops aren't just for text and image printing. They have another mainstream service, which is 3D printing. Huixian Town is a tourist area. 3D printing masks gives tourists a sense of novelty, quite common. For most people experiencing novelty, it's merely for fun, using ordinary materials without strict requirements and priced under 100 yuan. Lin Xiaosu is different. As soon as he spoke, can you print a 6S mask? 6S? Spy standard. The shop owner was excited. We've just got a new machine online that can print to the 6S standard, though the fee is a bit high. How much? 3,000. If you're sincere, the lowest I can do is 2,500. No problem. Lin Xiaosu took out his phone and pulled up a photo, create her face. All right, sir, please wait inside. 6S printing must be precise. It'll take a little longer, half an hour for perfection. They entered a small room in the back. A server brought them tea. Feng Jai's eyes sparkled. Who's the woman in the photo? Little Yi. What? Feng Jai's mouth dropped open, looking at him in shock. What's wrong? You're asking me to pretend to be little Yi. Yes, pretend to be little Yi, then you can reasonably stay at my house. Little Yi has been living at your house. Yes, she's been living there for over a year. Feng Jai gently scratched her head. What happens when I move in? What does she do? Let her stay in a hotel. No one will know. Nobody will know, but what about her? You're taking another woman home, making her stay in a hotel. Won't she make a fuss? No way, she's very obedient. Feng Jai's eyes wandered. I just heard a man and woman arguing. The woman said the man was flirting with another woman, almost started a fight over it. Don't worry, little Yuo. Feng Jai pressed her hand on her forehead. Junior, do you think you're a scumbag? The mask was done. Feng Jai hesitated, but ultimately went into the partition. Soon she came out. How should I say the effect? Perfect. Lin Xiaosu transferred the payment to the owner and sent a bit extra, 3,000. The owner returned 3,000 as cash. He handed the cash straight to Feng Jai. Senior sister, you've got money now. Wherever you go, at least you can eat and have a roof over your head. Then they ate. That solved the hungry issue Feng Jai mentioned. After the meal, they went to a phone shop, bought her a phone, spending 4,000 bucks. Now, aside from her mindset, Feng Jai was no different from other women outside. They took a cab to the train station, bought tickets, boarded the train home. Feng Jai's eyes widened all the way, looking at the fields outside, the peculiar things on the train, listening to people speaking various dialects, feeling both curious and excited. Lin Xiaosu taught her how to use the phone. Once she got to the short videos, she couldn't look away. The train ride took 3 hours, from the northwest to the central region. Feng Jai never put down the phone. Lin felt quite emotional inside. Why do people say kids shouldn't play with phones? This thing is seriously addictive. 3 hours later, the train slowed down again. Lin Xiaosu slapped Feng Jai's shoulder. Senior sister, we're here. Feng Jai jumped up. Looking outside, her eyes were confused. The train stopped. They exited Huanggang East Station. Lin Xiaosu called for a taxi to Fengcheng. Feng Jai got off the cab, Looked at the sky, the river, the street filled with people. Probably couldn't tell east from west in this place. Is this your hometown? Yes. Your hometown is beautiful, prettier than Lee City. What's there to compare with that rundown place, Lee City? Lin Ziasu took out his phone and dialed a number. Little Yi, come to the county town. Feng Jai immediately felt uneasy. You're really bringing me to live in your house.